by Bmw Fairfield.
It's a nice one out there. Welcome into a Wednesday afternoon here on 95.7 The Game. Damon Bruce and Ray Ratto with you, and we got a fun one for you today. It's not often Ray and I invite someone in. And the truth is, we didn't plan to invite Hunter Pence into the studio today. It just so happened that he was coming into the studio today. So they're like, hey guys, you want to talk to Hunter Pence? He's got a Wall of Fame induction ceremony coming up. Beloved San Francisco Giant. And he likes the way San Francisco treats him so much that he still lives here. Like, he is a son of the city now. He absolutely loves San Francisco. So we said, yes, let's do that. Even though our minds are on football and football's on our minds, let's talk to Hunter Pence. And he's going to join us in about a half an hour, Ray. It'll be a nice little distraction, a little something different. I can't remember the last time you and I had an in-studio guest of any kind. It must have been back to 2019-18, pre-pandemic.
I think we had somebody earlier this year. Didn't we have Bontemps?
Oh, you're right. Bontemps did come through during the NBA Finals. He did, and I think Friedel walked in here too once.
Yeah, and as you relate the story, we didn't invite him. Somebody else did.
Well, that's always true. We don't
have any say at all.
Not a lot of RSVPing going in and around this show, but Hunter Pence is going to join us today. Talanoa Hufanga, not in studio, but on the phone, and we're going to go inside the 49ers locker room for the very first time this season. Normally on a Wednesday afternoon, we get to say hello to somebody who wears a 49er uniform, and I don't think anybody wore a 49er uniform as well as Talanoa Hufanga wore his on Sunday, on a day that left everybody wanting more and looking for a win that you didn't find in Chicago. He was fantastic. I mean, he uniquely jumped off the television screen and was in the middle of everything that defense was doing, including his own admission, the mistake that gave up the Dante Pettis 51-yard touchdown. So we're going to talk to Talanoa Hufanga about everything, including he is the only Talanoa or Hufanga I have ever met, I have ever spoken with. I don't know any other Talanoas in any other walk of life anywhere. So, Ray, unless you know a lot of Talanoas, we'll both be meeting our first today.
I've never met one, and there doesn't seem to be another one in the NFL history.
Yeah.
But I can look at all the other sports.
It's a very unique name.
Well, it's a Tongan name. It's probably John Smith in Tonga.
You think it's Talanoa is the equivalent of Tongan John?
Could be. I don't know. I don't know enough about Tongan culture to be able to say.
Well, forgive me for presuming.
Well, no, I just, it seems like a normal enough name for him because it seems to fit him.
It absolutely does. It's a great name. As we have said, we love great names on this show. It's a good show today. Hunter Pence coming up at 3:30, Talanoa Hufanga in our 5 o'clock hour. And let me just tell you what's absolutely happening here. Because 0-2 teams miss the playoffs 92% of the time in the last 15 years. So when you talk about who is coming to Levi Stadium this Sunday, that's who's coming.
Death.
The reality of that stat is what's coming to Levi Stadium this Sunday. You cannot, you will not, you must not be 0-2 at the end of this game against Seattle on Sunday. If you are the San Francisco 49ers, if you are 0-2, you can basically kiss the playoffs goodbye. It is not the omerta kiss of death, you'll never be heard from again, but it takes whatever normal percentage you have of going to the postseason and reduces it to a single-digit number, historically.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to the original merger in 1970, the percentage leaps up to 11.
Right. If you go back through the entire history of football, just don't have a random dividing line of, say, 15 years ago. How about this? Let me just frame it another way for you. let's just count the years that have had this expanded playoff format in it, shall we? Let's start, because in 2020, the league expanded to its 14-team playoff format. So did any of the lucky dozen teams come from the expanded playoff formats? Nope. In 2020, 11 teams started 0-2, and none of them qualified for the playoffs. And in 2021, 7 more teams started 0-2. The Colts, the Jaguars, the Vikings, the Giants, the Lions, the Falcons, and the Jets, and none of them made the playoffs last year either. So it's just not a world you want to be living in. You want to quickly get out of the neighborhood of 0-2 if you are an NFL team, because it's a bad place to be living. And the 49ers know that. They're way too smart. They're way too, history, numbers, kind of focused front office to not care about that. You have to care about that. So as big of a football game as you can find in week 2 is exactly the football game that the 49ers have coming to town, and it's supposed to rain. Weather's supposed to be bad again this weekend, isn't it? Not nearly as bad as it was in Chicago, but I heard wet conditions are absolutely on the table down in Santa Clara, and I'm wondering if George Kittle was going to play, if that means he might not. Because a slick surface and a groin pull sound like two things you want to keep away from each other.
Yeah, he might not. But then again, there was some speculation this past week that the injury might be a multiple week injury anyway. So Kyle will provide information on Friday, as he is wont to do, unless he wants to do the game time decision, which is usually a decision that they made on Thursday and just didn't want to say.
Kyle did a little talking to the media this afternoon. He gave us some injury updates.
Injuries for the practice today. Brunskill and Kittle won't practice. Same deal from last week. Trent Williams is not practicing, but just a vet day for him. And Greenlaw will be limited. Same deal from last week.
There you go. So that's the way it is. Somebody here on the text line says, Dre Greenlaw single-handedly lost that game himself. Look, in a team sport with this many moving pieces and these pieces being dependent on you doing your piece so I can properly do my piece, nobody on a football field loses a game single-handedly. But he went a long way into delivering the 49ers into that loss column. There is no doubt. Mistakes made on third down were the mistakes that lost the game.
He pitched in.
He certainly did. He pitched in. So there's a lot of cleaning up to do. There's a lot of getting better for the San Francisco 49ers to start getting pointed in the direction in. Because, as we said, they basically have, and this is not being overly dramatic, they basically have 4 quarters of football in which to save their very realistic playoff chances. So there you go. Welcome to the Super Bowl. It only took you to week 2 to get there. But that's really what they're looking at. This is a monster game coming up against Seattle, and I'm going to tell you right now that Pete Carroll is going to have this team coming in as energized and bouncy a Seattle team as you are going to find at any point in time this entire year. Like, there is going to be buzz around the Seahawks. It won't be real buzz. It won't be national buzz around the Seahawks, but it'll be the buzz in their own locker room, in their own city. They're feeling fantastic. They just did the impossible. Well, maybe it's not that dramatic, but they just certainly did the improbable. So the Seahawks are going to be coming in here feeling real good, feeling very frisky. And Pete Carroll is going to come down here thinking that he is built to spit on whatever Kyle Shanahan good ideas he might have with his new quarterback. As a matter of fact, he just looked at a 9-time Pro Bowl quarterback that he knows very, very well. I won't say he shut him down. I mean, Russell Wilson threw for about 350 yards. But if you can handle Russell Wilson, an afternoon of game planning against Trey Lance must seem like a JV walk in the park for Pete Carroll and company.
On the other hand, Pete Carroll is also going to have to look at a much better defense than the one he looked at Monday night. So this is not going to be as lively an underdog as I think people believe. Because as you say, Denver moved the ball up and down the field. And they got stopped inside the red zone a couple of times. Otherwise, that game's a rout. So it's not like Seattle suddenly is a shocking delight. They still have much to prove, and they are playing away from home. So that also factors in. It's not that rain is all of a sudden going to be the great equalizer again, but the 49ers have a sense of desperation that perhaps they didn't have in week one, or that they couldn't capitalize on after they showed like they owned the first half of that game on Sunday. So I don't know that there are templates yet for either team. I mean, Seattle probably loses the game if Nathaniel Hackett doesn't lose his mind. And by the way, Russell Wilson came out today and said, yeah, I think maybe we should have gone for it on 4th and 5, after saying it was a good call yesterday not to go for it on 4th and 5.
Well, I read another story about how, I mean, just in Denver, the Nathaniel Hackett honeymoon is just over. Like, there's already talk of, they just went through you want to talk about positive and bouncy? They just had one of the most positive and bouncy Denver Bronco off seasons in recent memory. The amount of excitement for this year, the amount of excitement that was a new coach and a new quarterback, two brilliant offensive minds brought together for the Denver Broncos. It is just like somebody put a can of gasoline on those hopes and just threw a match on it. I mean, they are out of their minds about how they lost that game on Monday night.
And, well, everybody's out of their minds about how they lost that game, because while their chances of winning weren't great, you know, your chances of winning are much better with Brandon McManus kicking a 50-yard field goal than a 64-yard field goal. Only they didn't give themselves a chance to get to the 38-yard line to be able to pull that off. So, you know, they got what they deserved. And, yeah, Nathaniel Hackett could not have made a worse first impression. In fact, it is exactly the opposite first impression that Brian Daboll made in New York, and he's considered a genius now.
Right. Enjoy your week on top of New York Sports Mountain, Brian. I do not know how long it will last, but this week you get to enjoy the ride. Not a lot of enjoying of the ride back from Chicago, I'm guessing, for the 49ers. They need to put that behind them quickly because, as we're saying, it's not the Seattle Seahawks that are coming to town on Sunday. It is a 92% chance of you missing the playoffs if you go 0-2. That's who's coming to town on Sunday. And that's what Kyle Shanahan and company need to be worried about. Somebody here on the Comcast Business text line says, Damon and Ray, what do you think of this comparison that Kyle Shanahan is the Mike D'Antoni of the NFL, an offensive guru, yet can't quite win it all? You know, in just the random things that have popped up on the text line that I've ever read, that's right there with one of the best of them. It is. There is a little bit of a what do you give me for, a little comparing, contrasting that I think does fit two guys who are clearly good at an element of their job, but maybe not the entirety of their jobs. I thought that Mike D'Antoni coaches guard play, specifically point guard play, maybe better than any other coach in basketball. I mean, look at the teams and the seasons and the combination of guys that he has unlocked while they played for him. For Shanahan, I think it would either be, it's not even the quarterback that he develops. I think Shanahan's bread and butter is that running game.
Most people are awed by the number of ways he can spring running backs. He's not a quarterback whisperer. You know, Bruce Arians is more of a quarterback whisperer than Shanahan is. But Shanahan and D'Antoni do share this one thing in common. They are both considered coaches. Like, coaches like them.
Right, coaches study what they do.
Yeah, and they steal liberally from them. That said, I wish fans would make up their mind who they're holding responsible for the 49ers not winning, quote, the big one. Because it used to be Jimmy Garoppolo. And then last year it was Jaquiski Tart. Now it's Kyle Shanahan. You guys are going to have to make up your mind. Who's your villain?
We'll find out who the villain du jour is. Or no, du jour is
of the day.
Of the day.
No,
of the week.
Apparently it's Shanahan today. Yesterday it was Lance. They're just going to keep flailing away till they they get down to Hufanga.
I think Trey Lance has been absolutely miscast as any villain coming out of week one. I don't think he did anything that was insulting to football intelligence or wrong or the type of mistake that you start saying things like, man, I don't know if he's the one. It wasn't a great day for Trey Lance, but it wasn't a day to lose all hope in either. I mean,
but you don't lose any hope in anybody after week one. I mean, because that stat you said about the number of teams that go 0-2 and don't make the playoffs, well, 3 of the ones who did won Super Bowls. So it's not, even 0-2 is not an insurmountable task. You just have to work harder. And look, last year, after 8 games, the 49ers looked dead on arrival. They got to a conference final. So, the hysteria that has surrounded this team has been both outsized and illogical from the moment the final gun went off. And if people aren't going to figure it out by now that sometimes you just lose a game because you lose a game, then, go watch rugby.
Look, when there are only 2 teams playing, one team is going to lose. That's just pretty much how it goes.
Almost all the time.
Unless you're going to tie.
Yeah.
And I'd almost rather lose than tie, to be totally honest with you.
Oh, you're a fool.
I hate ties.
It doesn't matter. I'd rather tie than lose.
Well, sure. Philosophically, for all the reasons of making postseason and qualifying, you'd rather tie than lose. But I'd rather go for the win and lose than settle for a tie.
Well, maybe you don't settle for a tie all the time. I mean, maybe a tie just happens upon you.
Right. Sometimes a tie comes to town and knocks on your door and wants to spend the night.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, the Giants game probably should have been a tie too, except that Brian Daboll got liquored up and decided, to hell with it, I want to go home.
Speaking of another Giants game, there's day baseball happening. A's and Rangers is going to happen a little bit later on tonight. J.P. Sears looking to improve his 5-2 with a 3.33 ERA. The A's dropped their series opener in Arlington last night. They're just 2-10 in their last dozen games. Speaking of 10, the Giants find themselves 10 games back with 19 to play after today. So,
Well, and they're going to be 10 back.
You're going to need to win a lot of games between now and the end of the year.
They might be 9 back.
Oh, hey.
San Diego's losing.
Hey. It ain't over. No, it's
over.
It's definitely over. We have some things to get to, though, in baseball. Probably should mention at some point that the Dodgers just won their 9th National League West title in their last 10 seasons. They truly are a team that is worthy of chasing. I mean, when you are choosing rivals, you don't want a weak rival. You want a powerful rival. And, boy, the Dodgers have been a powerful rival. And even though the Giants took 1 year off of them and then have regressed massively, and by the way, I'm seeing a lot of, Farhan already might even have his new deal done. Do you see that in The Athletic today, Ray?
Yeah.
And there is ample evidence that, that could have already been done. Farhan could already have his extension, but I saw an Andrew Baggerly piece where basically the front office has totally endorsed what they're seeing out of Farhan, is completely open to having him be in charge beyond this year, and it doesn't sound like a massive 4th-year regression in a 5-year contract is going to be insurmountable for Farhan and the way the Giants think of him. They think of him fondly.
Well, Greg Johnson left himself a little wiggle room, but for the most part, I think you fire him at your peril. Only because the thing you're trying to establish after years of Brian Sabian is continuity again. You don't want to become the kind of team that cans your general manager every 4 years, whether he needs it or not. That's the kind of thing you get when you're the Miami Marlins. the Giants are aspiring to not be the Marlins at the very minimum. So, no, Farhan's earned his stay. Of course he has.
I mean, he's very good on the margins. I want to see him being handed a real major league checkbook and have him get to work with that. I'd like to see what that looks like, and I think the Giants owe it to themselves to make it start looking like that. Hunter Pence is going to join us in about 10 minutes here on 95.7 The Game. Talanoa Hufanga in our 5 o'clock hour. We've got open lines beyond those two interviews. 888-957-9570. Somebody here on the text line, a long memory from the 510, says, Damon, remember, you'd rather lose with Lance than win with Jimmy. Remember? Well, I do remember that sentiment coming out of the airwaves last year.
No, not out of the airwaves, out of your side of the airwaves.
And I was right. Because how much did you enjoy your winning with Jimmy last year? How much did winning with Jimmy prepare you to win this season? Everyone have fun? Everyone think that appearance in the NFC title game was the end-all, be-all of football fun? I mean, it was a good year. There is absolutely no doubt. But with hindsight being 2020, how much better would the 49ers be this year had every single start for Trey Lance last year been a Trey Lance start? Every single game. What if the day in Chicago was his 17th professional start, not his third? Do you think the day might have gone differently? I do. I absolutely do.
I don't.
All this guy needs is seasoning and time. That's it. Or he can't play. And either way, you need to find that out too. So you still have no data points of information whether he can or can't. And it is week 2 of year 2 instead of having all sorts of data points after a first year where he actually played. And that's what I meant about that. That Jimmy, if he is just a one and done and Lance is the future, well, you should probably get to the future now.
No, you should get to the future when it's time for the future to be gotten to.
Sometimes you got to force things.
No. In football, you have...
They're forcing something right now, Ray. They're forcing it right now.
They are, but that's the great risk here. I mean, it could still blow up in their faces. But last year, turns out to be a fine year for them. However you slice it. Unless you believe that if you don't get to the Super Bowl, you should be fired. I mean, they had a fine year. Now, was Jimmy this principal reason? Probably not. But I don't think any Kyle Shanahan team is going to have its quarterback as the principal reason why it wins.
Well, then you might as well get the guy who's going to be the guy over the next 5 years instead of the next 5 weeks in there.
Well, they just did.
If that's how irrelevant the quarterback is,
no, I'm not saying
the next irrelevant quarterback.
I'm not saying the quarterback's irrelevant. You have to go with the guy who gives you the best chance at the time you're talking about. Kyle Shanahan has determined that Trey Lance is the guy for now. We'll find out if he's right. But last year he determined that he wasn't that guy. And it turned out, I don't think Trey Lance was going to get you to the conference final last year. So I can't believe we're relitigating last year now.
Yeah, well,
I'm down the rabbit hole again.
Somebody brought it up.
Tomorrow I'm absolutely not mentioning either guy's name.
No,
that is a vow.
You're going to have to.
I absolutely won't. I'll call him Thing 1 and Thing 2.
So who's Thing 1?
Brock Purdy.
See, there you go. You got to be careful.
I didn't say I wouldn't mention Brock Purdy's name.
For 3 hours, nothing but Brock? Is that tomorrow's show?
No, 3 hours, Thing 1 and Thing 2. That is my goal.
But who's Thing 1
I nearly got to the end of a show without mentioning Draymond Green one day. And I blew it right at the end. Whitey was sitting in the other seat. I wept on the way home.
It must have been a very big buzzword Draymond day.
It was.
Okay. I'm sorry I missed it. We have an awful lot coming up for you this afternoon. Like we said, Hunter Pence, not too far away. Is this where we kind of agreed to break, right around here, Grandy, or where am I going? Oh, 2 more minutes. I can give you 2 more minutes. I can start by this minute by letting you know that we're brought to you by BMW Fairfield. BMW Fairfield opened in the Fairfield Auto Mall. Since opening their doors in July of 2021, BMW Fairfield has become the top-rated BMW dealer in the Bay Area. Visit bmwfairfield.com today to book your visit. we have a visit booked with Hunter Pence. He is going to the Wall of Fame after, I don't think it's an exaggeration to call it a glorious Giants career. He was beloved in this city. He won 2 championships in this city. Players loved him. The broadcasters loved him. The fans loved him. His teammates loved him. And even the fans who didn't like him loved him. You remember all those Hunter Pence signs?
Oh, yeah.
They were great.
Is he bringing refreshments?
Like coffee?
No. Like real adult refreshments.
If Hunter Pence rolls in here with a couple bottles of liquor, this show's going to be really interesting.
I'll tell you what, he's staying until 6 then.
Absolutely. But I'd be surprised.
But if he doesn't, I don't want to see him.
I'd be surprised if it were anything other than coffee service, if even coffee service. We'll find out why
He's a letdown.
he turned into such a coffee hog.
Teetotaling nudge.
This guy, what's the moment? What's the moment? When did you go from, I think I like coffee, to I think I'm going to obsess and harp on coffee? We got a lot coming up. Hunter Pence in just a little bit here on 95.7 The Game. It's Damon, it's Ratto. NFL season is back in the books. You want to go ahead and get some betting tips? Well, how about Follow That Cash? It's free on the Odyssey app, which we've asked you to download a million times, so you should just do it. It's free wherever you get your apps. Damon and Ratto here on 95.7 The Game.
Brought to you by On Deck Small Business Loans.
When you own a small business, sometimes you need funds fast. So go to OnDeck.com, America's largest online small business lender. OnDeck makes it easy to apply in minutes. Apply for your loan today at OnDeck.com.
Whether you're buying a new car or used one, it's a big investment, which is why you should choose Pennzoil Platinum. It helps extend the life of your engine and protect it up to 15 years or 500,000 miles, whichever comes first, guaranteed. That's because Pennzoil's base oil is made from natural gas and 99.5% free from engine clogging impurities. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Enrollment required. Keep your receipts. Other conditions apply. See pennzoil.com/warranty for full details. Find it at Firestone Complete Auto Care.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Iron Maiden, live, the legacy of the Beast Tour 2022. Don't miss their biggest stage show, their greatest songs. Iron Maiden, with very special guests, Trivium, Experience, Iron Maiden, live, Concord Pavilion, September 27th. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com. Part of the Mancini Sleep World Concert Series.
Legends of hip-hop and icons of New York, Wu-Tang Clan and Nas present the New York State of Mind Tour. Wu-Tang Clan
Socrates, philosophies, and
and Nas with special guest Busta Rhymes. Together, live in concert. Oakland Arena, Saturday, October 1st. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you might be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to getrefunds.com/sports, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to getrefunds.com/sports. That's getrefunds.com/sports.
If you owe back taxes to the IRS, have unfiled returns, or are worried about an audit, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new agents to address these very issues. That means if you need to get your tax problems resolved, now is the time to get started. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm specializes in helping individuals and small businesses resolve their tax problems. We work to stop IRS and state seizures. We may be able to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar with an offer in compromise. We prepare your past due returns, even if you have no records, and represent you before the IRS and state in an audit. At the law offices of Robert Goldstein, the consultation is always free, and we have offices located throughout the Bay Area. To schedule your free consultation, call 1-888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAXEXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT. And make us your last stop.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Ad paid for by the Sentinel Group. Attention Marines, military personnel, families, and contractors who were stationed at Camp Lejeune. Were you present at Camp Lejeune between August 1953 and December of 1987? You may be entitled to significant compensation. For nearly 34 years, those in the Marine Corps' base Camp Lejeune were exposed to contaminated drinking water, resulting in devastating injuries, including several forms of cancer, adverse birth outcomes, Parkinson's disease, and more. North Carolina's procedural laws have prevented victims from getting the justice they deserve, but passage of the Camp Lejeune Justice Act of 2022 would allow you or a loved one to file lawsuit seeking compensation for illnesses and injuries linked to the toxic water. Call today for your free consultation. 800-631-3019. Let our experienced attorneys fight to get you the compensation you deserve, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. Call 800-631-3019. That's 800-631-3019. Again, 800-631-3019.
At Churches, we put it all on the table for less. Get 10-piece legs and thighs, 2 large size, 5 honey butter biscuits, and 5 jalapeno peppers starting at just $20. Churches Texas Chicken. Welcome to the great state of flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
Now back to Damon and Ratto on 95.7 The Game. Brought to you by BMW Fairfield. Now open in the Fairfield Auto Mall. Visit bmwfairfield.com today to book your visit.
So, as we tell you, we stream on Twitch and on YouTube, and normally it's just 2 not very athletic guys. That's what you see. There is an athletic guy to be seen now if you are streaming on Twitch or YouTube. His name is Hunter Pence, and he's nice enough to join us here on Damon and Ratto in studio. Hunter, thank you very much for joining us. How are you doing? It's good to have you.
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks for turning on my mic too. You know, the best, but everything's good. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. How are you?
We're fantastic. It's really good to have you. Obviously, you got a big weekend coming up, man. The Giants are doing you quite the honor of putting you on the Wall of Fame. It's going to happen on Saturday afternoon. And tell us how this kind of all came together.
Yeah, Larry called me and just kind of told me that, they've decided to honor me in this fashion, and I was just thrilled and grateful to obviously just a legendary organization, a wonderful organization to play for. City I absolutely love. Met my wife here and got married here. Won 2 World Series here. Had some amazing teams and teammates and fans, and it feels like a family to me. And so just really humbled and honored to have the opportunity to be acknowledged in this way. It's my name's next to some of the greats of all time, and pretty special.
How did they approach you with it? Did they sort of try to ease into it, or did they just blurt it out? By the way, we're putting your name up on the wall.
No, Larry said, hey, I'm very excited to tell you. He's just like, I need to talk to you. So I had no idea what it was about. So I called him, and he just kind of was like, we're thrilled to honor you in this way. And, are you willing to do the ceremony or whatever the case may be? I'm obviously like, yeah, whenever we can make it happen, let's make, I'm just absolutely overjoyed and thrilled. So yeah, that's it. It's just a phone call, and Larry kind of letting me know. And the more I get to learn about it, the even cooler it is to me. The fact that this was Peter McGowan's idea, and the fact that they put the plaques on the wall outside the stadium, and they want people to be able to experience some of their favorite players for free, and you can go take a picture next to whoever, and they write a little story about whatever your tenure was. And so I mean, that means a lot to me, and in and of itself, and the fact that it's with the Giants organization, how much I love and align with the city of San Francisco and the Giants fan base.
I'm a sucker for a plaque, too. I got to be honest with you. There's never a plaque on anything that I don't kind of want to walk up to and read and
right?
learn a
Me
little
too,
something.
actually. I love plaques.
If you have a plaque on a rock, I'm reading about that rock.
There's something interesting here. What do I need to know about this rock or this insect? I fall into the plaque trap as well.
I've never been a plaque. Congratulations on your plaque status.
Do we need to make you a plaque? Can we get a plaque for... Sure. I feel like you deserve a plaque for your great talking and your wonderful voice.
There's some on my teeth if you want to have a starter.
Yeah, that's about as close as we get to plaque. 4-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, 8 years in your 14-year career with the Giants. Beyond the titles, which obviously affect relationships greatly, there was a love, I thought, between you and Giants fans before the titles happened. Like, there was a connection between a very unique city, a very unique fan base, and a very unique player. Not just the style and how you played and how you performed, but how you moved, how you hit, how you did everything. You were like in a group of one, and it felt like that helped Giants fans sort of embrace you before the real success even followed.
It does. It did feel like a perfect fit, like a perfect puzzle piece fit for more than one reason. And obviously, like you said, one of one. Like, everything I did was a little bit quirky, a little bit awkward. And honestly, I feel like the city of San Francisco is very hyper creative, very open minded, very into a little bit of uniqueness. And that's what a lot of my friends will say. Yeah, you're just unique out there, Hunter. And so I think that I felt very welcomed. I felt that it was celebrated that I was a little bit different, and I felt comfortable in my own skin. And San Francisco helped me kind of be okay with who I am, that I am a little bit different, that I'm into, some nerd culture, and like I love Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, and I want to ride a scooter and, plant trees and surf, and I'm a little bit of a hippie and kind of thing, but
easier to do that here than back in Texas?
A little bit different, yeah. I feel very welcome and okay to be myself, and I align a lot with this city, and the fan base was just ultra supportive, and I've never lost a game and had fans be like, "It's okay, we love you, good efforts, you're going to get them tomorrow," and like that different perspective and mentality, and where fans would sometimes tell me when I was really down, like, "Hey, we believe in you guys. Y'all are going to be okay. Like, thanks for what you're doing." And there was multiple times that fans have really, picked me up, and you don't get that anywhere. And, I think that part of that was that we had kind of answered the call a couple of the years. But it really, if I got into the stories of fans and how much fun I've had getting to talk and hear stories. And I remember in 2012, actually, when I did come over, the energy of that team and what they had done in 2010 and what we had going in 2012. I remember I walked into a restaurant and people were putting up their cameras, they were like kind of filming it or whatever, and some fan stood up and just said, "Let's go Giants," and they all, like, everyone started standing up and clapping, and I was just like, this is did not expect that, never had anything like that happen, but that energy of that 2012 team was something else.
When you were in Houston and then the brief time you were in Philadelphia, did you feel like you couldn't be yourself, or were you yourself and it just didn't play well?
I would say that it was just different. I definitely withheld, and I think everyone, to completely be yourself fully is very hard to do. To be completely free, to be yourself authentically 100% of the time, it's a challenge. And I wouldn't even say that I'm still always that. But in Texas, for sure, I was kind of, in a shell a little bit, and Philly, probably, kind of similar. And I definitely think that it helped heal me and helped me come out of my shell, just this environment.
Hunter Pence joining us here on 95.7 The Game. Sorry, Ray, I didn't know.
So what was the breakout moment in terms of how you felt you could express yourself here? Not the breakout moment as a player, but the breakout moment when you could just sort of take the weight off your shoulders and go, you know what? All I have to be is me.
You know, I think it honestly, it wasn't like a come to San Francisco and immediately boom, but it was just like eye-opening experience, different mindset, different perspectives, and I have a very open mind and did a lot of learning and soul searching. I think, baseball, when you compete at the highest level, is somewhat of a lesson in self-mastery. Like, you have to learn to master yourself because you just get beat up, and the expectation is to win every day, to win the World Series every day, and you're just never going to be able to live up to that, to please everyone. You can only give your best, and so you have to learn to master yourself to get the most out of yourself. If you want to be elite, if you want to do something different, you have to be bold. And I just think that, honestly, I'll have to give a lot of credit to Lexi as well, my wife, and her being like, hey, you have this other side of yourself that's not just baseball that would be, fans would like. And I think the welcome receptiveness of San Francisco kind of opened all of that up.
Why is your game?
Is this like are we going into like
why is your game changers? No, this is really good. Forget baseball. We'll talk about how to hit a baseball any other time. This is real life stuff. People can't relate to major league careers who are listening, but they can relate to, my wife gave me a little bit more confidence to be myself and, express myself, and other avenues that, this avenue in this city probably would be shut down, but in this city, that avenue is open to you. So it's a little different. Look, a lot of people come to San Francisco and they say things like, sure is beautiful, love the restaurants, fans are great, I really like it here. And then the minute that they can leave, they're gone. You stayed. Like, you really absolutely love San Francisco, and that makes you unique, because this is a very unique city that doesn't, it's not one size fits all. It's not. It really isn't. So the fact that you get here, you have the ability, you have the financial wherewithal to put down roots wherever you want, pretty much in the world, and you choose to remain here, I think that means a lot to people.
Yeah, well, I'll always be in San Francisco, and I'm not here full time, and I'm looking to be here full time eventually. That's kind of the plan, is to hopefully get, I have a condo here, and I'm able.
Are you out of the Millennium Tower?
No, I'm still in the Millennium.
Are you leaning? You're leaning a little?
Probably. There was an earthquake yesterday. I felt the thing shake.
Yeah.
No, they're working on that, and I'm not involved in all of that. It was perfect because there's good security for Alexis when you're playing,
right.
But I want to have a yard, so I'm hoping to one day get a house. We have our place in Houston. We have our place here. We have a spot in Newport Beach where I'm learning to surf, and I'm learning to surf here. I got good enough that I can surf in San Francisco, and that means a lot to me. But I think we're most active in the community here, and we're looking to make this a full-time home at some point. But yeah, we will always be a part of San Francisco, and that's kind of the dream and the vision moving forward, is to have more time here.
So fans run up to you all the time and probably share with you their favorite Hunter Pence memory, either the broken slow-mo replay of the bat, or the catch that you made in Lincecum's no, whatever it might be. Forget about every fan's favorite memory of you in San Francisco. What's your favorite memory of you in San Francisco?
By the way, I want to throw this out there before I answer this question, is like, sometimes fans give me some heartfelt messages that literally bring chills, and almost like you're just like moved. Like this one lady on an airplane, I didn't know that she knew who I was, and she kind of gave a smile when she walked by my chair, and then she finally came back. I guess she brought up the courage, and she's like, I just want to tell you that I was living in China, and I would wake up at 8 a.m, and that's what time it was when your games were going on, and it really made me feel, I was really homesick, and it really made me feel at home, and y'all's teams meant the world to me, and I just wanted to thank you. And you're just like, whoa, you have no idea the impact. So I just, and a lot of times, like, I hate to bother you, and I just want to let everyone know that y'all always, like, it always means the world to me, and I appreciate that, because the massive effort that you put into giving your best and putting, I searched the depths of my soul, and I love doing it, and there's plenty of self-interest in doing it, but I also had intention to bring joy and to inspire others, and to inspire, to do great things that impacted a collective. So that means the world to me, and I always appreciate it, and it doesn't bother me. But as far as, like, you want my favorite memory with the Giants?
Yeah. When you dream of the Giants, what's the dream that you have over and over again?
Well, there's like 3 of them that are like really, really stand out, and one of them was, obviously we won Game 5 in 2012 against the Cardinals with Zito pitched an absolute gem. And I remember being on the flight coming back and us just being like, the Cardinals are so pissed to be flying back right now because welcome back to San Francisco. It was AT&T Park, now Oracle Park. Welcome to our park, and oh, by the way, good luck with Vogelsong and Kane. And like this flight, we're like fired up. They're pissed off. They have to take this flight. They have to play more games, and you're staring down Vogie and Kane. And Vogie pitched an absolute gem. It was October sunset. It was like a purplish sky, just the most beautiful sunset. It was like the 7th inning. I don't know if he had given up one or none, and we had scored a ton. And the fans were like shaking the fence over in right field. They like broke it down. It was like halfway leaning down. They were going so nuts, just chanting Vogie, Vogie. And he was kind of like milking it a little bit, taking his time between pitches, acting like he was taking a deep breath and then letting it rip. And just that. And then when we got the last out running in on that moment, I was just like, there was so much momentum. And we were just like, we felt unstoppable. Like it didn't matter. There was still a Game 7, but it felt like it was.
You were going to the World Series.
Like we were like, come get some. Matt Cain, another game.
Scooter-O in the rain.
Yeah,
Scooter-O looking up in the rain.
And then I think the other two would be Michael Morse. Obviously the bromance. Like love Michael Morse. We had so many good talks in the back of the plane. Just like really, really. Amazing teammate, an amazing year, and he had the oblique injury, and he worked his way back onto the roster. Hadn't really had an at-bat. In his first at-bat, Boch has to put him up against Nishek, who's like got a 1-7, just a sidearm righty, absolutely filthy, and Boch just says to him, and like he does, he just has a knack for the perfect timing. He's like, well, Morse, I couldn't put you in a worse situation, but you're the best power bat I got. Go get him. and Morse just absolutely hits a bomb and just loses it. And we had always talked about like being the energy of already have won it. Like we've already won this. This is where the sunflower seeds and the parade thing happened. Like we're having a parade in the dugout because we're creating a parade. So I was like, be the vibration of it. And Morse just went nuts. Like we had already won the game. He just tied it. And he was like running around like it was a walk-off homer. And we just went bananas in the dugout. It was so fun. And sure enough, Ishikawa has the moment that it was like the next inning or maybe 2 innings after that where it was just absolute pandemonium. It literally was the first time I'd ever been a part of a moment where it felt like the earth was shaking. It was so loud.
It was something else. I was in the ballpark that night. It was amazing. It really was. Ray, were you feeling the vibration as well?
No, I don't do vibrations. That's reserved for players and fans. I'm up in the press box with the other stodgy old boats. Do you still watch a lot of baseball now? I mean, if you're sitting at home, will you turn a game on? And if not, how often do you?
So I watch a lot of baseball because I'm broadcasting, so I have to be, so
I'm just talking about for leisure.
Like leisure. I put it on in the background and like listen to it, but I don't very rarely, unless it's a playoff game or like Giants Dodgers, am I like sitting down and watching like start to finish like you do when you're broadcasting. I'm typically watching highlights. I'll have it on to just, I like to have the broadcasters' voices in the house. I like to have, the game going on. So yeah, I would say I have them on, but I'm not like sitting and watching the whole thing. I'm just like keeping an eye on it while like cooking or cleaning or playing a video game or something. But I would say more than often I'm playing video games or reading a book or spending time with Lexi, and it's just on in the background. And we're just keeping up.
Dave Fleming is white noise.
I love all of their voices. I feel like it just warms the house. It just like awakens it. Like if it's just the staleness of not having the game on. It's definitely a privilege to have such great announcers. I think the Giants.
It's part of the soundtrack of summer. I mean,
exactly.
It really is.
They're legends. They're amazing, and it is the soundtrack of summer. And having the baseball game on just feels good.
Hunter Pence with us here in studio on 95.7 The Game. What was your aha moment with coffee? What turned coffee from a drink that you drink in the morning to something that you have taken on as a full-fledged lifestyle choice?
Well, so I started drinking coffee when I was like 12 because my dad always had the styrofoam cup when he was driving me to school. And I was always like, well, what is he drinking? And I remember tasting it, and it was awful.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, well, my dad's drinking it, so I'm going to keep drinking it. And it tasted like earth, and it made me feel like, I was like, oh, I'm tough. I can drink this earthy drink. And then I started liking it. And he didn't think I was ever going to like it, but he kept giving it to me. So, and then I think Alexis was like, hey, let's like start. I never really paid attention to the taste of it. I just ordered it and was like, whatever.
Just coffee. Like, didn't think twice about it.
I'm just drinking the coffee. And then she was like, let's like start reviewing coffees. You know, we travel a lot. Let's like start testing out what's the best coffee. And then it like opened this whole Pandora's box of a whole new world. And you like can't go back to just whatever coffee.
Right
anymore.
now, you're
Once
tweeting
you've
about
experienced
flavor
this-
notes.
Yeah, now I'm like a taste. Like I'm tasting everything. I'm like, what do you taste? What are the notes? Yeah, I do that. I love that. I live for that.
What is that? A little strap of leather? What is that? What is that?
I hope not. I'm looking more for like a blueberry pancake.
Ooh, solid for breakfast. choices.
Strawberry syrup.
So
lemon drop.
So you are to coffee what some of my more irritating friends are to wine. You will find ways to describe a cup of coffee that far exceed what the coffee itself might be.
No, I think that's what the coffee is and the wine. You know, those notes are in there. You know, you gotta. The more you focus on it, the more you taste. But taste is perception, so everyone perceives something differently. But yeah, no, I'm that annoying coffee wine drinker taster person.
You mix them together ever?
Never.
Oh, coward.
That sounds not. Have you mixed them together?
Oh God, no. But you're the expert.
You're right. I'm a coward. I don't really look to, but I wouldn't be surprised. There are like, what is it? Orange juice and like espresso or something. Like they were doing like, that was like a whole thing. And everyone says it actually tastes really good.
Like I can't even get
Oh,
over
that
the
sounds
whole,
like an accident.
It's like the sake bomb. You know how you put like the sake in the beer and then you drink it? Well, they were doing that with espresso and orange juice. So it's like orange juice bombs in the morning or espresso bombs in the morning, sake bombs at night.
Did you ever have the Wisconsin lunch bucket?
Never had that. No.
It's like you take a little amaretto and you drop it into a beer with orange juice in it, and it's called a Wisconsin lunch bucket. Is
it good?
Yeah, it actually is.
See, some of these things surprise you. Pineapple on pizza? I haven't tried it.
It doesn't make any sense, but it's not that bad. I loved the Hunter Pence sign, passive-aggressive taunting that you got when you went to, you would go into some of the most savage stadiums, and they would still have the funniest, cleverest signs against you. What is your favorite Hunter Pence does or doesn't sign that you've run across? To me, I still think Hunter Pence brings 13 items into the express lane. I think I saw that in New York.
That's pretty good.
That was pretty good. Do you have any favorites?
Yeah, but there was a couple that really got a good chuckle out of me, and I remember we left New York, and it started with a series with the Mets. I was like, all right, that's over with. Like that was fun. I'm going to Milwaukee and thinking it was done, and sure enough, they had Hunter Pence signs. I was like, all right, I guess we're doing this in Milwaukee again. Like that was fun, and I responded to it and made some up that I thought were funny as well. And in Milwaukee, they had they have the sausage race or whatever, and someone held up Hunter Pence chooses hamburger in the hot dog race, and I thought that was pretty clever. So the ones that like aligned with the city, like Kansas City, they had one. Hunter Pence thinks he's in Kansas, and that was pretty clever. There was a couple of them. Hunter Pence is all about that treble. Because at the time, it's all about that bass was the song of the season. So there was just like a couple, get you a chuckle.
You had a couple of struggling seasons, not for you, but for the team.
I had plenty for myself, too. I struggled a lot.
But I'm talking about more sort of the team environment where you're kind of out of it on the 1st of September. Sort of the way the Giants are this year. Was it hard for you to go to the ballpark then? Did you need the smell of a race to feel good about being a player, or you felt good about a player every day no matter what?
I think you feel like, I wouldn't say it's hard to go to the ballpark, but you definitely feel like you let down. Obviously every season the goal is to win the World Series, so you feel like a failure. Like you're going to work and you're just it's all about your numbers, your professionalism. But the Giants were extraordinarily good at like continuing to push to win no matter what. Even in the season where we got Joey Bart, we had the second to last worst, like the last game, Pablo hit a walk-off homer, and I just remember having Sabian calling us into his office, like it's important to keep winning in that push. And so we were never just going out there like it's okay to lose or we want to get a better draft pick, which some fans will be like, oh, it's okay if now that they're out of it, let's just lose more. They always pushed us, and I love that. And it was always fun. Like we finished strong here, then we go into next season with that momentum. Like we're proving, like we're seeing VR David Villar have these at-bats. He's proven what he can do. Brinson, they just beat the Braves today. Logan Webb, these things. How do we build a team that's going to make the playoffs next year? So there was always a lot to be excited for. And when you just love baseball and love challenging yourself and, go spoil someone else's season, that is fun. And so I was always, I definitely felt like, I put a lot on my shoulder. Like, it was never enough for me. However good or bad I did, it was always like not enough. Like, unless you win the World Series. So you're always not enough as a player, in my opinion.
What's next? What do you want to do next, Hunter Pence? You can do anything you want. The world is your oyster. You want to be in studio. You want to be in the booth. You want to be in the stadium calling games. You could do all three, all four, all five. If you want to go you go to Hollywood, do whatever you want. You'll be a podcaster, do whatever you want. You want to open up a coffee shop, you could do that. What is the end game here, Hunter?
The things that I love are the simplest things. I do love broadcasting. I want to be a good husband. I want to make sure that Lexi's happy and have time for her. So surfing, drinking espresso and coffee, being around baseball and sharing some of that knowledge and that passion. Video games is something that I really love. So those are like my easy. If I was to go really deep and really give you my authentic, like I love like meditating and exploring consciousness. I'm reading all sorts of wild books and really enjoying diving deeper into, my spiritual journey or whatever you would call it. So that's all really fun for me. So those are the things that matter.
It feels like your chakras are aligned. I got to be honest. I can see your third eye just looking at me, man. I absolutely can. I really can. You seem to be very at peace.
I wish that I had. I'm trying to open the third eye, man. I'm telling you. I just love that. Just more joy, more good experience, and learning more about life and purpose, and trying to just plant trees, clean up the oceans. I got philanthropic, or I can't
philanthropic. There it is.
Yeah. I want to help clean the oceans. I got to do a cool thing with the Bay Keepers. They're just a good organization and keep the bay clean, keep the water clean, and just try to leave the earth in a better place before my time is up.
Well, I tell you what, you're certainly going to at least leave a plaque.
Hey,
and that's where it all starts. It's going to be on the wall this Saturday. Ceremony, probably about an hour and a half before the game starts out there? What's your day going to be like on Saturday? Do you know?
You know what? I'm just going one day at a time. Like, I got this interview, locking in, knocking it out. But I have she calls herself the Tom Brady of scheduling. You met her maybe briefly before, Mallory.
Yes, Mallory, the Tom Brady of scheduling.
Because she's just like, go here, go here, go here. I can't. If I get, I'm your classic. Just athlete that's like, I can focus on one thing really good. If you give me another thing, it's too much. Like one thing at a time. So I'll be ready for hopefully entertaining everyone and saying thanks to all the fans and all the people that helped me along the way, because I wouldn't have been the player I was. There's a lot of people behind the scenes, and I'm super excited to tell a little bit of the story in the brief little time I get and say thank you.
Well, thanks so much for coming on in here. We're certainly happy to have had your focus for a little while, and good luck with your third eye.
I appreciate that. I'm going to need it.
Thank you so much. Hunter Pence here on 95.7 The Game. Awesome to have him in, and I'm sure he would love to see you at his Wall of Fame ceremony on Saturday down at the ballpark. Go on down and say, Hunter, hell of a career. Way to go. You got a plaque forever. Buy him a coffee. Maybe he'll get you a coffee. Maybe it'll be coffee for everyone that day. Who knows what the Giants have planned. Thanks so much to Hunter Pence for coming on in. Damon and Ratto here on 95.7 The Game, brought to you by Bmw of Fairfield and by Fremont Bank, full-service banking, no compromises.
We can't fade Frost, so take the under. I'm Joe Giglio here to help you beat the books with BetQL. Nebraska made the long overdue decision to fire Scott Frost after losing as a huge favorite to Georgia Southern. Bettors are back in that decision, and Nebraska has gone from a 2-touchdown underdog to plus 11.5 versus Oklahoma. But the BetQL model likes the total. They have under 67.5 as a 5-star best bet. I'm Joe Giglio. Bet smarter and beat the books. Download the BetQL app today.
It's not easy being the one everyone counts on to keep the facility running, no matter the weather or supply chain hiccup. But we get you, Raymond in Buffalo, and Maria in Miami, Jules in Minneapolis, and Stan in Central Indiana, taking control of everything that's under your control. At Grainger, we're here for you with experienced branch staff at over 250 locations, so you get the product you're looking for. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, It really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Hey, Becky, what about this beat for your next song?
It's cool, but I'm into faster stuff lately. Like Xfinity that gives me beyond gig speeds.
Got it. What about this then?
It sounds powerful, just like Xfinity. Because its supersonic Wi-Fi has 3 times the bandwidth, you can connect hundreds of devices at once.
That's what I call power.
Unbeatable internet from Xfinity. Made to do anything so you can do anything.
Get the Xfinity Supersonic Bundle with unlimited gig speed internet, Wi-Fi equipment included, and a free 4K streaming box. All for $50 a month with a 2-year internet rate guarantee and no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile with unlimited data at regular rates. Go to Xfinity.com/gig, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Limited time offer. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay. New gigabit extra internet customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Xfinity Mobile requires post-pay Xfinity internet. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes wireless usage. After 24 months, regular rates apply. Requires compatible Xfinity gateway.
The gamer, the call maker, the experience chaser. What if you could be everything all at once? Galaxy Z Fold 4 is powered by the Snapdragon processor for world-class performance and lightning-fast speed to turbocharge your multitasking. How about an expansive edge-to-edge screen for immersive gaming, hands-free video calls with flex mode, and multi-window view to use up to 3 apps at the same time? With Galaxy Z Fold 4, do more with ease and make multitasking a breeze. Available now at Samsung.com.
Dave Matthews Band Live. This Saturday night, Shoreline Amphitheater. On sale now at livenation.com. Part of the Allegiant Always concert series.
America! It's me, Murdoch Nichols! Awake, my lambs! It's there. Gorillas are doing a US tour, and it's gonna be an absolute belter.
Gorillas, Chase Center, September 21st, with special guest Earth Gang. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Light the beacons of truth and join me.
Odyssey knows that football fans can't get enough football. That's why we've got nonstop football coverage on the free Odyssey app. Podcasts and live shows dedicated to every pro team. NFL play-by-play and enough game talk for the most diehard fans. Local radio stations talking football, interviews with star players and coaches, and football fans being fans.
What kind of play calling was that?
Listen to everything you love about football, live and on demand with the free Odyssey app. Get in the game and download today.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Just happy to be here. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Whether you need tech for the office, home, or school, Staples is your total tech solution.
A powerful PC that'll help me deliver the perfect presentation.
Staples has you covered.
Tech support to help get my new laptop up and running.
Staples has you covered with tech solutions, services, and accessories. And now save up to $260 on select PCs. Plus, save 25% on Staples Total Support to protect your new or existing PC. Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 9/17, in-store only, limit 2 while supplies last.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station.
Now back to Damon and Ratto, brought to you by Bmw Fairfield on 95.7 The Game.
All your best 49ers coverage can be found on the Odyssey app. All of the interviews, including the one that we're going to do in a little more than an hour from right now with Talanoa Hufanga of the San Francisco 49ers as we go into the Niners locker room for the very first time this year. That is coming up. We want to thank Hunter Pence once again for stopping on by. He was fantastic. Somebody says here from the 510 on the Comcast Business text line, Damon, I haven't watched baseball in about 2 years, but the interview with Hunter Pence was fantastic. He was great. He's great. He's just an easy to talk to kind of guy. And Ray and I both, as the interview was over and he was walking out, we both agreed we probably should have asked him a little bit more about baseball. Probably should have asked him more about this team, but
then he should have stayed longer.
Well, here's the thing: this team is so bad, and I can tell you that one of the things that we were talking about with Hunter on his way out was he said they got to re-sign Carlos Rodon. You know, even if they were to do the unthinkable and sign Aaron Judge, which just ain't gonna be happening, and I'll get to that in just a second. But you know, what are you without Carlos Rodon at the top of this rotation next year? I mean, you know what you were with him, and it's inadequate. Without him, how much worse does it get? I think substantially. You got to bring that guy back. 3 years, $100 million. It's going to hurt. The Giants, to be better next year, need to spend money or invent a time machine. I like their chances of spending money more than bending the time-space continuum.
Well, if Charlie Johnson cares, he would do both. But since he probably doesn't want to do the time-space continuum thing, I have a hard time imagining them spending money at this point. And unless Cole Haynes is suddenly the secret vanguard of a wave of minor leaguers we didn't think they had.
Cole Waits,
I'm sorry. It's the only thing they can do in the short term. The problem is they're going to get stuck with a bad contract, whatever they do. If you sign Carlos Rodon to a 3-year deal, and let's say $100 million, yeah, you get Carlos Rodon, but you also get a pitcher with a history of arm trouble. And it's a contract that they have tried to spend the last 4 years trying to get out of, where you're paying guys for past performance. So I think it's going to, I mean, while it makes the most sense, you say, you know what, get your payroll back up to $200 million and stop screwing around. That still puts them about $100 million behind the Dodgers and about $40 million behind the Padres. So unless they're going to spend beyond their high water mark for spending, I think they're a third-place team for a while.
Well, that's okay, though. I mean, here's the thing. The way I would look at it is you need to hang out in that third-place existence. You need to sort of batten down the hatches for a comfortable third-place existence and then be ready to pounce on the next moment of lightning striking should it happen with a free agent class. You need to, if you're the Giants, you need to get your own farm system in order, and you need to have your team on the verge of, if now we just added 1 or 2 big deals, what do we look like? And they're not even there. They need the foundation onto which you build the big free agent spending addition. They need the foundation of the house to be squared away once again. And I would say that right now, the Giants' foundation is very hard to see when you're just looking at this current roster. It's Logan Webb, maybe Camilo Duvall, 1 more year out of Brandon Crawford, and just nothing but moving pieces beyond that.
Yeah, see, that's the problem, is you don't really have a foundation, and you won't have one even if you re-sign Rodon. If you're trying to fill in the years until your minor leagues actually produce everyday players, which was the plan for this year, you have to do that by going out in the open market and convincing guys that they should play here rather than somewhere else. And the only way the Giants can do that is to overpay. And I don't see the impetus for that. It's hard to imagine Charlie Johnson telling his son, Greg, you know what? Fire out whatever you need. Be in on every player. Even if you can't get Judge, make a run at him.
By the way, what you need is the kid going to the dad talking like that. And it doesn't seem like that's the guy Charlie Johnson is. Charlie Johnson does not seem like the kind of guy who's going to go up to the big Johnson and say...
You mean Greg Johnson?
Excuse me. Yeah. Greg Johnson should be the guy saying, hey, Dad, we need to spend more. We need to spend... And it's the dad going, no. If it's both of them biting their nails over the budget, then yeah, the Giants are just on perma-screwed.
But Charlie's the one with the money. Greg's just the guy who counts it. So if Charlie's not on board with this, it doesn't matter what Greg wants.
No, but at some point in this level of family secession, Daddy's money is your money. Daddy's lived long enough to where everything that is his is conceptually about to be mine. So how are we going to play your last years here, Daddy?
That's a little hard to say. Dad, we have to plan for your death by blowing some of your fortune.
You want to win one more title before you go? Because you can't take it with you, Pops.
I don't know that he does want to win another title. I think he wants to recoup all the money he lost in COVID. Even though he's never lost a dime, there was money he thought was going to be his. And like most rich guys who own sports franchises, they look at that money as that must be reclaimed.
Look, you're going to get your money back when Mission Rock opens. That's going to get you your money back, which is, by the way, one of the worst architectural designs I've ever seen slapped on anything. That is just boxy and awful down there. But okay, it's going to make them an awful lot of money. It's going to make them an awful lot of money. The Giants can't even pretend to be crying, not even poor. They can't even pretend to cry middle class, not for a minute.
It's not about pretending. It's about, I want that quarter that's laying underneath the table. Because that's how billionaires often think. It's not about, where's my next billion alone. It's also, where's my next 100? Because Charlie Johnson has been wealthy forever. But this is a payroll that went from $200 million 4 years ago to $150 million this year. So it's not like he's a huge fan of spending. So your logic, while utterly defensible, I don't think reaches his ears.
By the way, hello, Cole Waits. The righty made his major league debut last night, and it's significant because he becomes the first player drafted by Farhan and his administration to actually reach the major leagues, with the exception of Caleb Killian, who was dealt in the Chris Bryant trade to Chicago last year, and he debuted with the Cubs earlier this season. But the first debuting with the Giants, Cole Waits, last night, and the young Mr. Waits worked around a leadoff walk and a double to debut with a scoreless inning. So he created a little traffic for himself, Ray, and then he shut it down. And the guy had awesome hair, too, so he gets thumbs up in the you have awesome hair category.
Yeah, I mean, he had a nice, lively arm last night. The ball had some movement on it, and he was, high 90s throughout. Seemed to be throwing pretty free and easy. He doesn't really have a hitch in his delivery, but there needs to be more of him.
Speaking of nice hair, what do you have, Lucas?
Talanoa Hufanga, 49ers safety, joining us in about an hour.
I mean, here's the thing. You can't have anything other than awesome hair if your name is Talanoa Hufanga. Like, there's no way you can ever go into a barbershop and just say, give me the buzz cut. Keep it simple. Keep it tight. You basically have to look like Maui from Moana. And it's a great look. If I could pull it off, I would try it. I really would.
I could if I saved all the money that's ended up in my sink, or the hair that's ended up in my sink.
You would have been great with glorious long locks.
Nah, I'm a mess. I was a mess. I am a mess. I will continue to be a mess until I reach room temperature.
That's why I asked Ray when Hunter left. I'm like, doesn't that guy have like the genuine positive energy that you just normally absolutely You hate that person.
And I normally do. Problem is, I think he really believes it.
He is.
It was a little cringeworthy when he talked about the third eye.
Third eye. Well, I brought it up.
I know you did, but he went with it. And maybe he was being polite, but...
No, he's into opening his third eye, Ray.
Yeah, which I get, but I don't need to hear about it.
Should we look for your third eye?
Not a chance. God, there's about 8 different ways that can go, and none of them are good.
Stay far away. Somebody says, Damon, don't say daddy. It sounds dirty every time you say it. Sorry.
And it does.
Sorry, I won't do it again.
In fact, you shouldn't let your kids call you daddy.
But it's factual. I did say none of this daddy, dada, nothing. I want it father, straight up. Just each of them. Father.
You're a Pops kind of guy.
Speaking of Pops, a couple of Pops for Aaron Judge last night. Number 56 and 57, both at Fenway. He is running away with a home run crown. He's 4 away from the American League single-season home run record. It was his 10th multi-homer game. Judge is on pace to finish with 65 home runs, and the Triple Crown actually isn't out of the question anymore. He's 9 points shy of sidling up to the batting title lead. At 57, he's got 20 more home runs than anybody else. I mean, he could just shut that down. He's going to lead the league in home runs for sure. As a matter of fact, the last time a player had a 20 home run lead over the next closest player was the last day of the 1928 season when Babe Ruth led Jeff Bottomley and Hack Wilson by 23 home runs. So that's kind of impressive. He's 14 RBI up on the next closest candidate, Miguel Cabrera, the last Triple Crown winner in 2012. So he'd have to put 9 more points on his batting average. And then just nothing else really needs to happen because he's going to win the RBI title and he's going to win the home run title. He's already won the home run title. It's locked up.
Well, more to the point, one of the betting houses, one of the internet betting houses is basically paying off on anybody who bet Aaron Judge to win the AL MVP.
They're paying off on MVP?
Yeah, because they're pretty sure, and I think they're right, that this is not going to be close.
Yeah, here's the deal. He's probably going to win the MVP. I thought you were going to tell me they're paying off on any home run futures, and of course they are by now because it's his.
No, they're MVP.
Okay, well, look, what's his ERA?
He doesn't have one.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the guy who also has one of those and hits home runs. I think it's Shohei Ohtani. I think Shohei Ohtani's in a class by himself, but if you're just talking about who's having a monster year on a team that matters, Aaron Judge is easily the guy. Easily.
And those are the guys who always get it. And besides, Ohtani's probably has an excellent chance to win the Cy Young, so it's not like he's going to go home empty-handed.
If Aaron Judge were an Angel, are the Angels in the playoffs?
And they have Ohtani and Trout?
Sure, they're the Angels.
Okay.
They got all 3.
Well, that's one less guy who can't hit in the lineup every day. And that ultimately was the thing that killed the Angels this year. Everybody thought it would be their pitching, and their pitching hasn't been great.
But look how bad they are. Are they one guy, no matter what ilk that guy is, are they one guy away?
I think there'd be one guy away from catching the Mariners. I think they'd compete for a playoff spot. I think they'd have a better record than the Orioles, and the Orioles are 7th. I think they'd be in the argument. They wouldn't be fighting it out to try to see if they could have a better record than the Texas Rangers.
I just think it's weird that we take the whole who's in first place, whose team is doing really well, and we want to use that to make an MVP argument, but you'd never assume that the same guy could just show up to another team and turn them into a winner. So why does it count so much as people discuss it and debate it? I don't know. Look, Aaron Judge has had a remarkable season. There's no pretending he didn't. Shohei Ohtani just has a remarkable skill set that so separates him from everyone that has ever played the game before. To me, there is no MVP discussion to even have as long as that guy's in the league. Like, you should just split it with Ohtani and the next best candidate any single time Ohtani has a good year, because what he's doing is just remarkable. But we don't want to stick around too much more baseball here, but I do have a little more for you because Albert Pujols hit 696 and 698 last week. He did it over the weekend. He is trailing only Barry Bonds, Henry Aaron, and Babe Ruth. He is in fourth place all by himself. This feels like a significant piece of information that in any other year of my life would have been a huge talking point almost every single day on the radio. It's like home runs were so bastardized during the steroid era that nobody even holds records for home runs with any reverence anymore. Even the whole John Heyman trying to say it isn't Bonds, it's even that fell flat. Like, it's just like everyone's just so exhausted by the whole conversation of who did it, who should get credit, who counts, who doesn't count, who did you like, who did you think was bad. Like, it's just anytime somebody goes north of 50 home runs, something sacred is happening in baseball. Now it's just like, oh, call us if he gets to Roger Maris. Like, that's the point. That's the dividing line now. If you get to this is how ridiculous Barry pushed it out. Barry pushed it so far out to 73 that 62 to pass Maris sounds like, it's remarkable.
But and I'm not arguing, but think of the other guys who broke 60. McGuire, Sosa, McGuire again. 60 stopped being the barrier.
Yeah,
and
did it 3
Judge
times.
is going to sail by this too. I'm still not convinced that Judge won't, inch up towards 70.
Well, he's on pace for 65.
Yeah,
he's on pace for 65,
and he hits them in
bunches,
streak. He and Mike Trout might be the best great streaky hitters in the game.
Well, Mike Trout's just one of the great hitters of any generation that has ever lived.
Yeah. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, and there is no argument.
And there's just no appreciation for him, and most of America couldn't even identify him in the lineup. He plays on a sub-mediocre team, and he doesn't try to get attention. Well, again, neither did Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn played in an off-brand market and wasn't exactly a look at me guy, although he had a great personality.
He had a great personality, and they did get to a World Series, which is more than can be said for the Angels. No, the truth is, Mike Trout, he chose to stay in Anaheim, and he chose to stay for a massive amount of money. And I think he chose to stay because he's a little bit like Buster Posey in that I just want to play baseball. I don't care about the rest of it. I don't need to be a household name. I just this is a job that isn't a job. Sign me up for that, and then give me all your money. That's hard to argue, that kind of a strategy. Besides, fame is very much a double-edged sword.
It is.
The peace and quiet Mike Trout has doing the thing he loves for an enormous amount of cash is probably the best way to live.
Michael Schumacher, a Formula One driver, is probably more recognizable than the single living greatest hitting baseball player in America.
Oh, yeah, no question.
This is new territory.
There are 100 soccer players who are better known than him.
It's crazy. It really, really is. By the way, speaking of on pace, John Morosi had this note. The Mariners, who are at 20 seasons, and the Phillies, who are at 10, are both on pace to end their longest active postseason droughts in baseball. That would have the Tigers and Angels next up in line. Neither has reached the playoffs since 2014, and neither is obviously going to make it in 2022. The Dodgers punched. They don't pinch, they punch their ticket to the postseason last night. The Athletic broke it all down. They already have the best run differential in franchise history at plus 320. The season's clinch only took 141 games. That's the shortest time to clinch during this 9 out of 10 run that they're on. At 98 wins, they're well on pace to clear the franchise's record of 106 wins. That, by the way, was set over the last 2 full seasons of Dodgers baseball. So they have just been playing remarkable. Their 21-game lead over San Diego is the largest division lead in all of baseball. They recorded their 13th shutout of the year just last night. And, Ray, they're not even hot yet. The Dodgers have not even spent an entire week this year with everybody hot, everybody on point, everybody healthy all at the same time. They haven't even tried to be good yet. They just are. They haven't had a full day of a full complement of the pitching rotation that they had in their mind's eye when the season started due to injuries. Only one player, Mookie Betts, has more than 21 home runs because Bellinger's still a mess and Muncy had a big regression year. And yet the Dodgers still lead the league in slugging percentage thanks to 7 players who are all still at double-digit home runs. And then you got 4 players with 30-plus doubles. Even in their down years, they're still monsters.
In the last 10 years, and this counts the season in which this season was only 60 games, the Dodgers are averaging 100 wins a year.
That's good.
It's ridiculous. It's 65 wins more than the Yankees have.
It's incredible. It's a pace that is truly historic. It's a decade of historically significantly good baseball from L.A., and that's who you're chasing, Farhan. Like, tell that to Charles Johnson. Tell that to the young Johnson. Tell that to all the Johnsons. You are chasing the most Lamboed out of all Lamborghinis in the history of baseball. You really are. This is the hardest catch them if you can that you're going to run into. And last year, you actually did it. It's going to be a long time before you do it again.
That's the only time in the last 10 years the Dodgers have not won the division.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And more than that, they still have only the one World Series, and that was in the 60-game year. The postseason is now about who's hot in October. It's not about who comes into October with the best team.
We used to talk about how, games are not connected to each other. You don't even have a postseason connected to a regular season anymore. There is no momentum. There really isn't. We have an awful, awful lot to get into when it comes to the 49ers, and we're getting right back to the 49ers when we come on back. It was fun to talk a little baseball today. It was great to have Hunter Pence in here. But it's officially time to get back to our obsession, and the obsession for the 49ers better be not being 0-2 when the sun sets Sunday down in Santa Clara, because 0-2 is a kiss of playoff death. We're going to have that for you. And Talanoa Hufanga joining us at 5:15 this afternoon. Damon and Ratto. We are brought to you by Fremont Bank, full-service banking, no compromises, and by Friedman's Appliance.
Visit Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill September 23rd through September 25th for their fall clearance sale event and take advantage of one-of-a-kind opportunities. Visit Friedman's Appliance Fall Clearance Sale event for the best time to save on new appliances for your home.
The following is an attorney advertisement. If you get sidelined by a workplace injury, the workers' compensation attorneys at Boxer & Gerson can help get you back in the game. Our team of skilled attorneys will fight by your side for the treatment and compensation you deserve. We care about justice for injured workers. That's what makes us Northern California's premier workers' comp law firm. Call Boxer & Gerson at 510-345-2341 or visit boxerlaw.com for a free consultation. Boxer & Gerson, your life is worth the fight.
Great cars and great customer experience are what define a great dealership. At Bmw of Fairfield, we deliver on both counts. Bmw of Fairfield is the top-rated BMW dealership in the Bay Area, according to Google reviews. We love selling the ultimate driving machines, but our success rests on the outstanding experience we provide our customers. It's a better way to buy and own a vehicle. Experience it for yourself at BMW of Fairfield. One price, one person, 1 hour.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month, with no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses, with the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Offer ends 9/21/22. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Okay, you know those amazing spots only the true San Francisco locals are in on? Like Square Peg. That place with the square pizzas? Or Mama Hoo-Hoo? The spot for sweet and sour chicken that's anything but so-so.
Order up!
You know, with the Granch dressing. And all the other spots the real SF locals know without us even saying them. Yeah, they're on DoorDash. San Francisco gets it. DoorDash has it.
Are you looking for a rewarding new career? Join the United States Postal Service and apply for roles nationwide. Serve your community with pride and receive benefits including competitive pay and opportunities for advancement. Whether you are looking for full-time, part-time, or seasonal positions, we have options that may be perfect for you. The United States Postal Service is an equal opportunity employer. Apply now at USPS.com/careers.
Ever since I got the new Galaxy Z Flip 4, I've been learning all these new tricks with my dog Finn. Like how to take the best selfies at the park. I just set my phone down, put it in flex mode, and capture hands-free pics from multiple angles.
Aww.
Or how to capture our training sessions for his followers. I simply wave my hand to start recording video. Good boy! Plus, the Z Flip 4 is compact and fits perfectly in my pocket.
Oh, wow. Visit Samsung.com today to get the new Galaxy Z Flip 4.
This football season, adopt a new tradition that's sure to turn fans into family. The Jim Beam Highball. That's beam and soda over ice with a lemon slice. Share one at the stadium or make one at home. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2022, James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart.
The Golf Mart, home of the 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Serving Northern California golfers for over 30 years.
Dell Technologies' semi-annual sale has arrived, and it's time to upgrade to the latest business technology. Save big on laptops and desktops with Windows 11 Pro. Plus, get amazing deals on server, storage, and cloud solutions, as well as top work accessories, including docks, monitors, and more. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL for special business offers during our semi-annual sale.
Imagine buying a pair of sneakers and getting a soothing, gentle foot massage like you'd get during a relaxing pedicure just by walking. You might think this sounds too good to be true, but we think it sounds like Skechers' new Massage Fit sneakers. Because Skechers, the comfort technology company, has designed a unique innovation that makes it feel like you're pampering your feet with a gentle massage in every step. The secret is Skechers' new patented wave technology on the sole that gently massages your feet while you're walking around. It feels amazing and is so gentle you can wear them all day just like your other favorite Skechers sneakers. And not only will you be getting the massage, you'll also be getting Skechers' other famous comfort features, like a special luxury insole that offers extra support for 24/7 comfort. Plus, they come in a variety of fashionable styles, including lace-up and slip-ons, and they're machine washable for easy care. Get a bonus massage in every step with Skechers' new Massage Fit. Find them for men and women at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
In San Rafael, mostly cloudy overnight, lows in the high 50s.
Weather brought to you by Pfizer and BioNTech. Whether it's the news, the traffic, the weather, or your COVID-19 vaccinations, it's important to stay up to date.
The Dave Matthews Band is coming to Shoreline on September 17th. For more info and tickets, visit 957thegame.com/events.
Now back to Damon and Ratto, brought to you by BMW Fairfield on 95.7 The Game.
Well, it's great to have you here. Talanoa Hufanga in about 45 minutes joins Ray and I here on Damon and Ratto. We are streaming on Twitch and YouTube. You can watch all of this if you feel that you need to. You can. We're here to explain things to you. We're here to help you understand sports. Somebody from the 510 says, why do you keep bragging about how great the Dodgers have been when they only have one World Series, you weirdo? If all you understand is who breaks the finish tape, don't ever talk about the race. Winning 9 out of 10 division titles is more impressive than any one World Series in any decade. It's amazing what the Dodgers have done. Don't try to say, well, because they didn't win as many championships as the Giants did there in such a short amount of time, what they've done isn't impressed me. Well, then you're an idiot. You don't understand baseball. And you're the most common denominator, stupid fan who shouldn't be talking to sports talk radio hosts. You're not allowed to sit at the adult table if you don't understand how good the Dodgers have been. Doesn't matter whether you root for them or not, or that the Giants won 3 World Series titles and the Dodgers still haven't. What the Dodgers have done has been remarkable. You should have nothing but respect and be envious of it. They dwarf the San Francisco Giants in significance. Dwarf them. That's a bad place to live, so I understand why you're a little frazzled.
It seems a little strident. I mean, fans are allowed their preposterous illusions. They should just keep them to themselves. When you expose them to the light of day, that's what you get. You know, feel how you want about the Dodgers, but don't feel compelled to share.
It's nuts. Somebody says, so you make fun of the Niners for only making championship games, but now you're praising the Dodgers? Which is it? Trying to compare regular season and postseason football together and baseball is just, this is so apples and oranges. What are you even talking about? Your questions are stupid. So I'm just going to ignore the text line for the remainder of this hour, or at least segment.
No. Ignore them for the rest of the day.
It's insane.
You'll feel better about it.
It's insane. The galactic stupidity that forms that question is just absurd. It's absurd.
I've tried to warn you.
Anyways, what's absurd are playoff chances for your football team if you start 0-2. You're not going, basically. You're just not going to the playoffs if you start 0-2, historically. And, you know, I even was talking about this earlier, and our good friend Dan Dibley was listening. Hello, Dan. Thank you very much for listening. And Dan says, Damon, you know, your 0-2 stat gets skewed by 17 games and 7 playoff teams now. And in a way, he's right. You know, whenever you want to lean on math to make a point and math changes, it changes the point a little bit. But I don't care where the rubber meets the road on the mathematics of all this. You just don't want to be 0-2. And that is definitive. Under any and all quadratic equations you want to apply to your NFL dreams and hopes. Since 2007, 118 teams have started 0-2. Only 12 have made the playoffs. And if you're saying, well, then what about when playoffs expanded to 14 teams in 2020? How many of those lucky dozen teams came from that sample size? Well, the answer is none. So since expanding the playoffs, if you start 0-2, you've never qualified. Now, what about one more game in the regular season? Well, we have not run that experiment yet. We're doing it for the first time this year. So we'll find out what the results are and how much an 0-2 start differs in a 17-game season as opposed to a 16-game season. I'm sure the math changes a little, but we're talking decimal points, not significantly. Look, 2-0 doesn't make you a lock the way that 0-2 kind of locks you out. Ray, teams that have started 2-0 since 2007 are 61-46. That gives you like a 57% chance to reach the playoffs. Teams that start 0-2 since 2007 are 12-95. That brings you down to about an 11% chance. So no one that has gone 0-2 since playoffs expanded have reached the playoffs. So that brings you down to a 0% chance.
Are you sure about the math there?
I'm pretty sure about that one right there. So you just do not want to be 0-2. 0-2 teams miss the NFL playoffs 92% of the time in the last 15 years. That's just facts. So you do not want to be 0-2. I don't care how bouncy and ready to play the Seahawks are coming in here. You got to beat them. Is it must-win time? Kinda? Sorta? You want to start playing that this early in the year? If you want to, you can. If you really think that this is a year where the 49ers preordained to be a playoff team, and I really think that they are, I wouldn't want to be on the wrong side of the 0-2 equation at the end of Sunday. I wouldn't think I could afford to be that if I'm sitting around with Kyle Shanahan and a young quarterback. Because if I'm 0-2, 0-3 sounds very realistic. Because you're going to Denver for Monday night the following week. And then after that, it's the Rams. And now if you're 0-3, 0-4 can't be out of the question. And if you're 0-4, well, the sky has so thoroughly fallen and things have gone so bad, I don't even know what the hell it is to tell you at that point. If you're a 49er fan and you're looking at 0-4.
Well, at that point, we'll stop talking to him because they'll just creep you out. That would be my plan.
People will be pissed, Ray.
Okay.
Very pissed.
Well, just think of 2 years ago. They were pissed then, too. They'll get over it.
Do you have anything to say about the Seattle game coming up?
No, I have plenty to say about the Seattle game, but I think in making as much as we have made about the Chicago game and about what we saw Monday night.
But we said we're not making much out of the Chicago.
Let me finish my sentence.
Okay.
I think we're losing sight of the fact that Seattle is not a very good team and did not play very well Monday night. And in fact, would have had a much larger chance to have lost that game had not Nathaniel Hackett gone brain mad. I mean, Seattle did not impress me in any particular way. And if the 49ers have aspirations about this year, they could conceivably lose to Chicago in a monsoon without their best running back and best tight end and best pass catcher. But they don't have the luxury of losing to Seattle. All this does is focus them to beat another bad team, only this time it's at home, and it's unlikely to rain so hard as to leave lakes from the 35-yard line in. So I'm not giving them, were I a 49er fan, I will have given up my annoyance about Sunday by now and just say, well, if this is a for real team, they beat Seattle. Period.
Yeah.
If they're not a for real team, we'll find out soon enough.
Right. Teams that aren't for real are probably going to lose at home to Seattle this year.
Yeah. Again, I don't believe in Seattle on the road, certainly not without Russell Wilson to cheat fate. But, at some point, you have to get over the fact that you didn't get what you wanted in week one. And you have to either think that this team is going to perform better in week two, or you give up the season.
Well, the guy who performed, I thought, the best in week one is going to be joining us in just a little bit. Talanoa Hufanga, safety for the 49ers. Comes up around 5:15 today on Damon and Ratto. Trey Lance at the podium today, and he was really tough on himself after that game. He was talking about the bad day he had, and I didn't think he had that bad of a day. Trey Lance said all the right things, took all the heat, put it on himself, didn't share the blame with his teammates when it came to the loss in Chicago, and asked why he was so hard on himself. Today he said,
I'm the only one that touches the ball other than the center every single play. So it's my decision most of the time where the ball goes, how it gets there, things like that, pre-snap, getting us in the right play, getting us in the right call, whether it's run game, pass game, protections, whatever it may be. So I make the most of the decisions other than the play call with Kyle. So at the end of the day, I see it as there was always pretty much a better answer. If I don't, incomplete pass, whatever, there was always, for me, going back and watching the tape, there's always an option or always a better answer, unless, we do make an explosive and I do make the right play. But ball placement, little things like that could have got us to 3rd and 2 versus 3rd and 4, little things like that. But yeah, going back and watch the tape, whether it's practice or a game, I feel like that's, like I said, where I learn so much every single rep, because little things like that can make all the difference, in the long run, especially in a game like that.
Keep getting the reps. You need to be throwing the ball more than you are running the ball earlier on in his career here. And look, I got numbers that are just a little odd. Believe it or not, Trey Lance has already had 13 or more rushing attempts, half as many times in the 3 games he's started than Michael Vick had in his entire career. Doesn't that feel a little odd, a little skewed, a little weird? Trey Lance has 9 design rushing attempts laid out for him Sunday in Chicago. He ends up rushing 13 times. Eric Branch is the guy who had the list. Quarterbacks with 13 rushing attempts since 1980. So we're going back a ways here. Lamar Jackson leads the group with 23. Cam Newton had 11. Jalen Hurts, active, he's got 5. Michael Vick, 4. Josh Allen, active, 3. Tim Tebow, bust, 3. Kyler Murray, 3. Robert Griffin III, 2. Randall Cunningham, 2. Russell Wilson, 2. Trey Lance, 2. Trey Lance has already had a game with 13-plus runs for the quarterback. He's done it twice in the 3 games he started. It happened twice for Michael Vick in Michael Vick's entire career. Kyle Shanahan, what are you doing?
Sunday, he was saying it's raining so hard that throwing the ball is a bad idea. I'm throwing Sunday out. If we're going to do this, let's do it.
Right. No, but Jeff Wilson was there. You turn around and give the ball to him. Kyle Juszczyk is there. If a fullback can't run on a muddy day, when can he run? And he didn't.
Well, he wasn't in the game to do that. That was a Kyle Shanahan choice, not a Trey Lance choice. What tells me that this statistic does not bother me yet is the fact that last year he knew infinitely less about the offense than he knows now. So he was just playing on instinct. Yesterday, I think he ran the ball 10 times once the rain really started to pour because he didn't want to throw it. And I get why. So I don't think this is a trend yet. It's a nice number to spit out, but sorry to say this, but sample size is way too small. And the sample from Sunday is so skewed that, and we've said it already hundreds of times this week, you can't make anything of what happened, except that they didn't score as many points as they should have. If you want to say something about Sunday, it's that their defense failed them in the second half when that defense shouldn't fail very often. And they failed profoundly. I mean, they gave up 3 touchdowns to the Bears on a lake. That's a defensive failure. That's not about Trey Lance. That's not about anything on the offense.
Right, but I'm talking offense. So if you want to talk about defense, you can do that. But I'm talking about this offense and that Trey Lance is being asked to do something that is an abnormal ask of the greatest rushing quarterbacks in the history of football.
If you think that's the plan they want to go forward with. See, I don't. I think Sunday was the aberration based on the elements.
Well, we're about to find out.
Yes, we are. That's my point. If he runs 13 times on Sunday,
something's wrong.
Then basically Kyle Shanahan wants to run the wing T. I don't know that I'm ready to assume that yet.
Somebody says, well, then why do you think Trey Lance is so good, Damon? I didn't say he was so good. I said he wasn't nearly as bad as those who are making him out to be, and I thought that he was failed by a head coach who still doesn't quite know how to use his new toy. Just does not know how to use him right now. And if you're going to have this guy run around so much, why not actually boot him out? Why not buy him a little time by moving a pocket around? Now, maybe that didn't happen in Chicago because it was such a sloppy day. There wasn't much of a pocket to move around. I get it. This Seattle game, though, is going to be very revealing. It really is. We are going to get what we hoped we would see in a week 1 evaluation. We got no evaluation. We're going to start our evaluation on Sunday. And the 49ers are either going to start looking, acting, and behaving like a team that might have postseason aspirations, or they'll be 0-2, and the wheels start coming off quickly. Because 0-2 goes to 0-3. 0-3 becomes 0-4. I really believe that.
Yeah, I think the 49ers are going to prove to be an incredibly erratic team all year long, where they won't win a lot of games in a row or lose a lot of games in a row. That said, I don't have any more information to back that up than anybody else does. But I think they're designed right now to be a pretty uneven team especially when you factor in Mitchell and Kittle being out. I think it makes them a wildly different team. And when you put all that together, I don't know what to make of Sunday. But if they lose to Seattle, I don't see an excuse at that point. Then you're not as good as you thought you were.
Yeah, that's not good. Somebody says there's a 65% chance of rain on Sunday. Hey, a little Northern California normal rain shouldn't be a big deal. It shouldn't. It shouldn't change the game plan. It shouldn't affect the outcome of the game. What we saw was a weather event that I did think affected how a game was played.
It wasn't the rain that was falling. It was the rain that landed, because it all landed in the same place. I mean, that field, you could see your reflection in the ground.
Yeah, it was like a mirror.
Yeah,
it was
that's why, Sunday to me, that's a throwaway. You burn the tape. What are you gaining out of that?
Today, Kyle Shanahan was asked if he uses past mobile quarterbacks as any sort of bellwether for what he envisions for Trey Lance.
I just compare it to all the quarterbacks in the league who run, and there's times to slide, there's time to take edges and dive. There's ways for receivers who get tackled going forward, splitting two people where they're getting hit on the sides of their shoulders that you don't feel. You got to get down when you have people in certain areas that are vulnerable, but there's going to be some that he gets hit on, and there's going to be some that he can protect himself, and that's us for him and us to work through.
So if you're going to have your guy running as much as he does, have him running right now, you better get him running to the sideline, or you better get him learning how to slide and avoiding some contact. Trey Lance says, yeah, like sliding is something he's working on, but don't expect to see it on third down when he needs to pick up a first.
There's always going to be, like I said, man, a million times, there's always going to be better decisions I can make. But on Sunday, I felt like I protected myself pretty well. Felt good for the most part. Maybe a couple I could have got down one step faster, or slashing, finding an edge and getting down. But for the most part, when I'm running between the tackles and stuff like that, or running on third down, I'm not ever going to slide and go 4th and 2 and just give up on the play and send our defense on the field if it's a situation like that.
So there you go. That's how I'm wired.
I'll be honest, he shouldn't be running between the tackles very often at all.
But he ran between the tackles several times, and it looked like designed plays.
I think they were designed plays because they were the safest things to do given the conditions.
That guy needs to learn an awful lot about the league, how to survive it, how to succeed in it. There is so much he has to absorb. It's overwhelming. It really is. It really, really is. This is going to be something else. Somebody says, Damon, you said that Trey Lance was Joe Montana. I'll tell you what. You find that sound, you mail it to me, and I'll send you $100. If you can find the sentence, Trey Lance is Joe Montana, coming out of my mouth, and all of our shows are on the Odyssey app, go back and listen to all of them. If you hear that prediction, cut it for me, email it to me, and I will mail you 100 cash dollars American. I guarantee you won't find it because I've never said anything as stupid as that is. Say it out loud. Trey Lance is Joe Montana. Say it. Don't you feel stupid for just even saying it? No one's ever said that.
All these things are on the app. Every show we've done is on the app.
Everything we do. Every breath, every time you've ever forgotten to turn on your microphone, all the beard scratching you do directly into the microphone, it's all there.
Why is anybody listening?
It's amazing.
I'm appalled.
Isn't it amazing?
It's not amazing. It's offensive.
People go out of their way, Ray, to seek us talking about sports.
All that tells me is our culture is doomed and the meteor must hit today.
But we knew that, and you rooted for that.
No. If they're still doing it, you get one mulligan. But if you come back a second time, that's your fault. And if enough people come back, our culture is finished. Finished.
Hey, Trey, how you feeling on Monday morning?
I felt fine. My neck, honestly, was a little sore. That was the first thing because, I don't get hit at all throughout the year. So guys kind of get to build up, get their necks ready for the season. But my neck was the biggest thing. But other than that, yeah, I feel good.
Again, it's not often where it actually sounds reassuring. Like, yeah, I woke up fine today. The only thing that was sore was my neck. But he was presenting that as everything's okay, which means football players are different than us.
Well, no, that he will say anything to try to assuage people's worries. Yeah, sure, my foot's falling off, but it's still kind of attached with the Scotch tape and the nail gun.
On a Monday, that'll happen.
Yeah, I'll walk it off. I don't trust him as far as I could throw him when it comes to answering questions in a way that's meaningful.
Speaking of trust, Kyle Shanahan was asked about his backfield and what he thinks is Jeff Wilson now being the center of it.
Anything that we ask him to do, he does, whether it's our third down back, whether it's playing a fullback role. When our wideouts have the ball in the pass game and the run game, he's been a starter for us. And he's a very reliable guy. When Jeff's healthy and able to stay fresh, he can play at a high level, and he's one of the guys that we trust as much as anyone around here.
Well, I can tell you right now that Jeff Wilson Jr. averaged 2.4 yards per attempt on Sunday, only had 9 carries, but he didn't exactly pass the eye test. He did not look spry. He looked heavy-footed. Now, it was a soggy shoe kind of a day. That'll make you look heavy-footed. Didn't see Jordan Mason, the undrafted rookie. I wonder if we will see him on Sunday. Ty Davis-Price is a guy who needs to dress and play. This is a third-round pick out of LSU. By the way, LSU kind of exists in a swampy, mucky place. He might have been able to help you out in Chicago. Probably should have had him ready to go. Didn't see him. I don't think there's any luxury that Kyle Shanahan has anymore to err on the side of veterans running with the football. He's going to have to turn to that kid. And Marlon Mack, by the way, is the newest Niner. He's on the practice squad. He's coming off an Achilles. Everything's pointing to him probably not being able to contribute in any significant way. Achilles injuries in the NFL are not Achilles injuries in the NBA, in Major League Baseball, where a guy can come back and get it back for the most part. In football, Achilles are different animals, and Marlon Mack has not been who he was since he tore that Achilles. I don't know if the 49ers can get anything significant out of him. We will hopefully get something significant and memorable out of Talanoa Hufanga, who's going to join us in about 15, 20 minutes from now. Whenever the Niners have him give us a call, we're going to be joined by their safety, and we're looking forward to it. Damon and Ratto here on 95.7 The Game.
As you know, sports teams plan well ahead of the next season. If you're thinking of remodeling your home, consider the same strategy. Talk with your designer or builder now about your next project. Golden State Window and Door has new inventory coming online. Milgard, Anderson, and Marvin. See Golden State Window and Door's wide variety of accessories at convenient showrooms across the Bay Area or goldenstatelumber.com. Since 1954. Golden State. When you succeed, we succeed.
Your most valuable asset is your time. So why should buying a car eat up your whole day? At Bmw of Fairfield, we value your time as much as you do. So once you've decided on your next car and how you want to buy it, we'll have you behind the wheel of your ultimate driving machine and on your way home within 1 hour. There is a better way. Experience it for yourself at Bmw of Fairfield. One price, one person, 1 hour.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Are you ready for your palm reading, my dear?
Yeah, let's do this.
I sense that you crave something.
More reliable.
Right. You know you deserve better and want out of a relationship.
Yes, with my big name wireless carrier.
You're who now?
My big name wireless carrier. That's why I switched to Xfinity Mobile. Now I get unlimited with 5G for $30 per month on the most reliable 5G network.
Let's talk about your aura. It's so...
And get this. They can even save you hundreds a year on your wireless bill over T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon.
Wow, that's actually really impressive.
Yep, but You already knew that, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, I definitely saw this coming.
Start seeing savings today. Switch to the fastest mobile service, Xfinity Mobile. Now with the best price on 2 lines of unlimited, just $30 a line per month. Switch today. Xfinity Internet required. Price comparison for 2 unlimited lines under available 5G pricing plans of top 3 carriers. Taxes and fees extra. Reduced speeds up to 20 gigabytes of usage per line. Most reliable based on root metrics. US report. Comcast analysis of mobile Wi-Fi and cellular data from Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Q2 2022.
Whether you're buying a new car or used one, it's a big investment, which is why you should choose Pennzoil Platinum. It helps extend the life of your engine and protect it up to 15 years or 500,000 miles, whichever comes first, guaranteed. That's because Pennzoil's base oil is made from natural gas and 99.5% free from engine clogging impurities. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Enrollment required. Keep your receipts. Other conditions apply. See pennzoil.com/warranty for full details. Find it at Firestone Complete Auto Care.
If you owe back taxes to the IRS, have unfiled returns, or are worried about an audit, the IRS is hiring 87,000 new agents to address these very issues. That means if you need to get your tax problems resolved, now is the time to get started. I'm tax attorney Robert Goldstein, and my firm specializes in helping individuals and small businesses resolve their tax problems. We work to stop IRS and state seizures. We may be able to settle your tax debt for pennies on the dollar with an offer in compromise. We prepare your past due returns, even if you have no records, and represent you before the IRS and state in an audit. At the law offices of Robert Goldstein, the consultation is always free, and we have offices located throughout the Bay Area. To schedule your free consultation, call 1-888-TAX-EXIT. That's 888-TAXEXIT. 888-TAX-EXIT, and make us your last stop.
Cache Creek Casino Resort is the place for the biggest names and the very best in live entertainment. Catch the multi-talented entertainer Gary Vee on October 1st and Amy Schumer on October 8th. Then see live championship boxing on October 29th as Alan Sanchez takes on Sal Bustos. This is your time to cash in at Cache Creek Casino Resort. Find tickets and see our full lineup at cashcreek.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter code JOY at checkout. That's harrys.com, code JOY. Enjoy.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM at HD1 San Francisco. An Odyssey station. Now back to Damon and Ratto, brought to you by Bmw Fairfield on 95.7 The Game.
It is great to have you here Wednesday afternoon. Lucas is cooking up a What If Wednesday. We all discovered the bird gauntlet yesterday. I wonder what you're cooking up today. What kind of gauntlets could be in the works and in the asking for a What If Wednesday this afternoon coming up? We're very, very excited. I know Lucas is excited about our next guest because he is a man of Troy. They are both men of Troy, except one actually played football at USC. The other just went to football games at USC. But Lucas is great at going to football games. Talanoa Hufanga was pretty good in them. And now all of a sudden, he does it professionally. So we're going to talk to him next. He was outstanding on a day where outstanding was hard to find for the 49ers in Chicago. He had a day, I thought, Ray, that was as good of a day as anybody had in football. I mean, he was as popping off the 49ers screen as Justin Jefferson was popping off the Vikings screen, as Patrick Mahomes was jumping off the Chiefs screen, as Justin Herbert was jumping off the Chargers screen. Like, this guy was awesome.
A case could be made that had it not been for the horrendous screw-up on the Dante Pettis touchdown, he might have been a candidate for Defensive Player of the Week, which is unusual for a guy on a losing team. But he was that good with the notable exception of that one play, which he admitted to. And I give him tons of credit for that. Is
he wore it.
Copping to that mistake, as egregious as it was, is, in my mind, the sign of a guy with the confidence to say, I don't plan on that ever happening again.
So we're going to talk to Talanoa Hufanga about how he got here, who he is, his plans, his life, all of that coming up. We had Hunter Pence in studio early today, and man, if you want to talk about life and plans and chakras and third eyelids, like there was a lot there with Hunter Pence. He was fantastic. Make sure you download it on the Odyssey app. It's where you find Damon and Ratto. Kyle Shanahan found himself very impressed with his safety's performance in Chicago on an otherwise disappointing day.
I was real impressed with their play. Huff was all over the place. I mean, it seemed like that live, and I felt even stronger once I watched the tape. I thought Gibson had a huge challenge stepping in and playing for Jimmy Ward. He had looked good in practice all week, and it was awesome to get him out there. You could tell he's a vet who recognized offensive schemes and do some stuff, and almost had a chance for that big pick right after that penalty that we had. The guy kind of held his arm and couldn't make the one-hander. So that was almost a huge play, but I was really happy with how both those guys play.
Yeah, Shanahan talking about both his safeties in his secondary. Hufanga specifically.
From what I saw out there, it looks like he played real well. I mean, I was seeing him a lot early, especially making that turnover, but you never know until you watch the tape. But just to naked eye, I was real impressed with him.
Yeah, naked eye, tape study, no matter how you look at it, he was impressive.
Bears bring only 4. Fields given time. He gets picked off by Hufanga, who stays on his feet and is brought down at the 47. So both teams with a takeaway here in the early going. Hufanga picks off Fields.
Joe Davis on Fox.
Yeah, how many times last year do you remember raving about the 49ers safety play?
Not often.
This might be one of those draft picks. And this is way too early to be saying this, but the beast must be fed. This might be one of those draft picks where you go, he's going to be there for 10 years.
Yeah, well, look, the best news that I have for you is that when the Seattle Seahawks come to town, they're going to be losing their safety. Jamal Adams is not going to play after hurting his quad.
He may not be coming back this year.
How much does that change what Seattle looks like? They weren't particularly good defensively with him, and he is regarded as maybe the best safety in all of football. So, yeah, when is the last time the 49ers had outstanding week-to-week safety play? I mean, are we going back to Merton Hanks? Dante Whitner, maybe, who was good? But, look, this guy seems to be suggesting there could be a very special player in him. A lot of hearkening back to Troy Polamalu. And I don't know if that is, a cultural similarity that people are trying to invoke, but I actually see similarities. Both guys play like they're getting shot out of cannons. Both guys are constantly around the ball. Great safeties are born to be around the football. This guy's around the ball. So, really looking forward to this conversation that we're going to have with a guy who we're going to give some steaks to. That's back. Thank you very much, Harris Ranch. We're going to be giving guys 10 pounds of meat, Ray.
Interview me.
It's enough to talk to us.
Well, it's the only way anybody will talk to us.
Did we give Hunter Pence 10 pounds of meat? No, he did not get 10 pounds of meat. He just wanted to come and see you.
He should have asked for the meat.
It would have been more satisfying. I think we can all agree on that.
Did you know that Jordan Willis got put on IR today?
No.
He did.
I didn't even know that he was hurt.
He was inactive on Sunday, and apparently they took an MRI, and his knee needs to be cleaned up. So.
Well, isn't that just fantastic?
I'm here to help.
Another, hey, you might need a surgery for a San Francisco 49er.
That never happens.
Feels like it happens a lot. Feels like it happens a lot. By the way, did you see the 2 more Ravens went down for the remainder of the year, and they were playing in New York on that MetLife field? They lost 2 starters. There's something about that field, man.
It sucks. That's what's about it.
Yeah. And I remember distinctly when Nick Bosa went down, and who else got hurt in that game with Bosa? Was it also Fred Warner who got hurt in that? I can't remember. Or was it? Oh, no, I think like Kittle nearly got hurt in that game. It might have been Raheem Mostert getting hurt in that game. But, like, that field, when the 49ers played on it, changed the season. And the Baltimore Ravens, they're just screaming about the turf in New York and Baltimore all week on Sports Talk Radio, the same way that we screamed about the turf in New York. I mean, it's subpar. There's just no way around it.
Hey, listen, if you can park a car on it, you can play football on it. That's the theory.
Yeah, well, no parking cars in the lake that was Soldier Field. That's for sure. Not unless you had some sort of flotation device around the car. Talanoa Hufanga, in his second season with the 49ers out of USC, he joins us courtesy of Harris Ranch Beef, legendary quality. Shop your local Rayleigh's supermarket for all of your tailgate needs. Talanoa, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Damon Bruce. You're going to be hearing from my co-host, Ray Ratto, here in just a second. It's a real pleasure. We have yet to say hello to you this year, so hello, and thank you for joining us.
No, thank you guys so much. I appreciate the opportunity to get on the show with you guys.
No, really appreciate it. Thank you for stopping on by, and I'm sure that our producer, Lucas, who you were just talking to, was already singing the fight song with you. He's the biggest USC fan in Northern California.
No doubt. Fight on.
There you go. We'll talk about you and Drake Jackson and how USC has got its fingerprints all over the 49ers defense just a little bit anyways. But in your entire life, we got to start with this. Talanoa, in your entire life, have you ever played a game in conditions that you played in Chicago on Sunday?
Actually, I have, because I am from Oregon. A game, I want to say my junior year of high school, we played a game in Oregon. And actually, the weather was so bad, and it got nationally televised because of the rain. It was going sideways. But I'd say it was pretty close in the fourth quarter of the Chicago game. It kind of almost matched the same intensity as the high school game, but definitely been in some bad weather in Oregon. It rains a lot. So
did the high school field drain better than Soldier Field?
Actually, it was both. Like, actually, they were both puddles. Like, I've never been on, I guess I can say I have been on both fields where, like, puddles. Like, Soldier Field was just a swamp when it came to the fourth quarter. It was just crazy. But those are the most memorable games you'll be a part of. They were so much fun just to be out there and doing what people don't want to do in those kind of weather conditions. But you just having so much fun with your guys and your brothers out there. So definitely just had a blast for sure.
That said, how jealous were you that you guys didn't go hydroplaning in the end zone at the end of the game?
Definitely a little jealous. But we got to get back to the drawing board, come back better week 2, and have a better mindset in terms of what we need to get done on the field and come out with a win. That's our goal, is to go 1-0 every week.
Did anything about the way that the weather happened throughout the day catch you guys off guard? Like, a lot of people don't understand what a Midwestern storm looks like until it's too late, and they're standing in it. Were you prepared for anything like that? You might have played a game like that in high school, but in terms of, like, bringing all the cleats that you need and the rain gear, were you guys caught off guard by that weather just a little?
Well, honestly, you prepare just to play football. So regardless of the situations you go into, you got to understand your rules and your checks and your adjustments that you got to make in game. So you can never let the outside factors, things that you can't control, whether that be wind, whether it be rain, snow, you can never let those be a controllable factor. You just got to do what you can do and play your assignment at the end of the day. Obviously, we practice in 105, 102 degree weather throughout the week, and then you go to a place like that. It actually is a little bit easier because you're coming out of the heat. So even though it rains and stuff, you still get the opportunity to go out there and play the game at a little bit cooler degrees. So
Niners safety Talanoa Hufanga joining us here on 95.7 The Game. So It was a day where the defense, I thought, played very, very well, or unfortunately spent the afternoon slitting its own throat on third down. Like, it was a tough day. You are a part of this defense. How would you sum up the afternoon when you played so well and at the same time kept the Bears in it as much as their own offense did?
Yeah, definitely. We gotta be better on every down. It can't just be third down. First, second down, you can create better situations. Third down, limit the penalties, limit the scrambling yards and stuff like that. You just gotta have better eyes. But as a safety in the back end, we take pride in making sure everything is done in the front end. So all those touchdowns as safeties, we want to take those back, because at the end of the day, we're the last line of defense, and so we gotta limit those missed errors all around, and we gotta clean everything up. That even if guys up front make mistakes, we gotta clean it up in the back end. So,
how long did you spend beating yourself up about the Pettis touchdown, and when did you stop?
Well, you gotta flush it first off in game, because you gotta continue to play. Obviously, when you get back into the film room, you obviously want to take things back, but you got to move on. Life keeps going regardless of good things and bad things. So you got to continue to work and get back on the drawing board. Like I said, we were already preparing for Seattle week 2, and we got to move on. And obviously, we want to fix the errors that we made, but continue just to look forward. If you get stuck on things that are in the past, you won't make progress. So as a guys, you can just see the energy that they're bringing in this practice and what we want to accomplish in week 2 for sure.
But I guess I'm talking just about how you work through the anger and disappointment. How long did it take? Did it take until you got to the plane? Did it take all the way home? Did it take through Monday? How long did you need to be able to put it behind you?
For me, I'm a guy that has to bring energy and positive energy. I think guys that get stuck on stuff too long can affect your game. And I think for me, I had to flush it right after the play happened, because obviously I can't get it back and I can't take it back, but I can learn from it. And it's not a loss; it's a lesson. And for me, as a young guy, I'm the youngest in the DB room. Being 22 years old, I got to continue to be a leader in any way I can. And so if I can continue to flush things and see the older guys and see the way they flush things and they continue to move on to the next snap, you never want to be stuck on something like that too long. It will affect your game the rest of the game. So just being a young guy, I'm just trying to take the examples that the older guys have set for me and continue to push forward. So something like that, you got to flush it the next play, honestly. So just had to try to finish out the rest of the game in any positive way we can.
There's no reason to just spend so much time on the one play that went as bad as any play did. When I spent most of Monday, Talanoa, basically saying, that game was played in such conditions that are so unique to that game. I really don't know what we can take away and apply to what the Niners may or may not be. We all just basically watched the same football game, and yet no one knows exactly what they just watched. With the exception, I think, of your individual performance. I thought you played as well on Sunday as any performance around the NFL, any team, any player, any position. Couldn't take your eyes off you, man. You were shot out of the cannon. You were making every single tackle. You were around the ball. You picked it off. It was really a day where I said to myself, I think for the first time, Talanoa Hufanga. This guy might be more than just another Niner. He might be special. That was an outstanding game that you played. Can you separate how well you played from the disappointment of the loss?
Honestly, I actually didn't think I played that well.
Really? What about, in your mind, kept you from meeting what I thought was an outstanding afternoon?
Just watching the keys of the game. I think it took me a few reps just to get confident in terms of being able to be in my right gap, eye discipline. And anytime we score, I want to put it on me. Whether or not it's my job or not, I would love to just put the touchdowns on me, because, like I said, I'm the last line of defense as a safety. And for us as a defense, we want to hold each opponent to 0 points. So, if they can't score, if they can't kick a field goal, and we score 3 points, whether that's 3, 2, or 7 points, 6 points, we're going to win the game. And so as a defense, obviously, any situation we're not and in an individual standpoint, I'm not satisfied with a game like that when we don't win. So for me, just got to continue to work, continue to be a sponge and absorb as much knowledge as I can from the older guys, the coaches, and continue to go out there and just improve what the Niner defense is all about, for sure.
Did you win that high school game that was played in the rain?
Yes, sir.
By a lot or a little?
Honestly, I think it was like, I want to say it was like 35-14, probably, somewhere around that kind of score. I couldn't tell you, that's not exactly, but it's around that margin. So
you had a hell of a good time.
Our producer just said it was against Forest Grove.
Yeah.
And who'd you play for?
Crescent Valley.
There you go. Shout out Crescent Valley. Write that down. Are you wearing this? Have you worn the same jersey number in high school and college and in the pros, or has it changed?
Well, high school and college, I wore the same number, 15, and then when I got to the pros, I got 29, and so.
How'd you go about getting 29? Did you ask for it? Was it given to you? How's that go about?
It was just given to me. Honestly, I'm not a picky person, so whatever number was handed to me, I was very grateful just to be able to put on the jersey. So 29 is what it's looking like, and 29 is what I'm sticking with. So.
I was about to say, you ever consider putting on 43? You must have heard already the Troy Polamalu comparisons. They're out there. You both went to USC. You're both of Polynesian descent. You play the same position. Both of your hair checks the boxes of glorious and luxurious. So, I mean, there's got to be a Head and Shoulders commercial in your future somewhere here at Talanoa.
Oh, well, you definitely need to talk to my marketing team about that and continue to put it on any way I can. But, no, just very blessed just to be around greatness like that in Troy, just learning from him and just taking everything he has. It's a very different way he sees the game and the different way that he approaches it as well. So, very blessed. But, yeah, 43, that's definitely his number. And we got to keep it the GOAT for him. So,
is there truly a brotherhood that ties USC Trojans together? Do you have a relationship with Troy Polamalu because of where you both went to school and the position that you play? And how cool is it that you get to take a college teammate like Drake Jackson and then step into your professional careers almost together at this level?
Definitely. Actually, I train with Troy Polamalu, so that's somebody that I'm very blessed to just be around all the time, and all the knowledge that he gives me. Being in the Trojan Network and the Trojan Brotherhood, definitely you can see that we're always looking out for each other. And, definitely when Drake got here, when he was drafted in the second round, we were very blessed just to see him and his athletic ability, his smarts, and the way he can play the game of football. He fits that model in our system. So we're the way he played on Sunday, for his very first NFL regular season game, he did well, and he stepped up to the occasion. And so we're just excited to see what he has. He's probably one of the youngest guys on the team. So just to see that, just to see what the levels of progress that he can make as he builds the pyramid. And so we're very just blessed just to have him, like I said, and fired on, as like I say, just for the Trojan Network and the Trojan Brotherhood.
Again, how is it? A lot of people are saying, how did Drake Jackson fall to the second round? What I would like to know is, how did you, who were a consensus All-American first teamer, Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year, how did you slip to the fifth round? Have you ever done the math on that? Did you ever wonder what just happened there? Because you have, again, it looks like you got Pro Bowl talent in your body. Not a lot of fifth rounders can say that.
I'm blessed, and I'm just very grateful I just had an opportunity. I really can't complain. I think a lot of people in the game of football would be just very, I don't see it as me slipping too far. I think it's me just blessed to just be drafted where I was at. I think the Niners took a chance on me, and I'm just excited just to be here. And I just want to, you have a chip on your shoulder, as every player in this league does, and they just want to go in there and prove what you can do. Be smart and be vocal. I think my job is just to put other guys in positions to make plays, and if I can limit the distractions for them and let them play free, communicate, and even if it's just little adjustments like that and checks during the game, that's who I can be as a team player. And so, as a fifth round safety, I don't see it as me slipping. I see it as me just being blessed to where I was at.
I think it's the NFL making a mistake, not you, obviously. And just so you know, just so you're comfortable, neither Ray nor I were drafted. You're talking to two undrafted radio hosts right here.
Man, I'm just blessed.
How much different was the day after the game for you than the day after the game when you were at USC? How much more sore were you?
You said much more what?
More sore. How harder was the recovery from your first NFL game than, say, your most physical game in college?
I would say college was. I was a lot more sore in college. I think college athletes, it's a little tougher, and I think everybody would agree with me on this. You're a student athlete, and student comes first. So usually games the day after, you have Sunday off. But when you get to Monday, you're going to class. You're not really getting a chance to do rehab. You're not getting a chance to take care of your body. But being in the NFL, this is your job, and your job is to be the best ability is the availability, and so you got to take care of your body 24/7. So I feel like the physical games they can take a toll on you, but at the same time you have time to take care of your body. And college is a little tougher because you got to worry about math and science and all those classes that take a toll of not being able to really take the recovery time that you need. So I'd say college is a little bit more sore, but you do have lesser games. You only have, I think, 12 games in a season compared to a 17-game season plus playoffs. So plus preseason, too, I'll say that. So at the end of the year, I think I played 24 career college games, and last year I had 21 games in the NFL that I was played in. So it's a little bit different, that's for sure.
How was that first taste of playoff football for you, and how much different was it than regular season football?
Man, every game, the intensity goes up. I'd say my very first NFL game from preseason to regular season, that same jump, you see that same jump from regular season to postseason. And each playoff game, it does another jump, and then I'd probably say the same if you get to the Super Bowl. Obviously, we didn't make it to the Super Bowl, but I'd say that's probably the same jump. It probably is even more. You got to be on the details in each game, but you can just see a rise of level of play, and that's what makes the playoffs so special, for sure.
Your blocked punt in Green Bay, your scoop and score, is one of the best 49er postseason plays anyone can remember. How surreal was that as a moment for you? It must have been a true feeling of arrival in this league for you. And where is that ball? Did someone get you and give you that ball? Tell me that's in a plastic case somewhere.
It's not a plastic case, yes. It's all painted up, definitely. But that's just a testament to my teammates. Jordan Willis being able to get through there, get the block, and just everybody doing their job. I was just blessed just to be around the ball when it fell. But that's a team effort. Our guys put us in position just to make plays, and as long as you're doing your 111, you guys are going to be successful on the field. And so it goes to the block field goal that Jimmy had earlier in the game to keep us from getting a field goal. Goes to the game-winning kick by Robbie. If he doesn't make that, we don't move on. So it's a testament to the teammates as much just a game like that, for sure.
So let's get to the topic that you might have heard about. Jimmy Garoppolo is still a San Francisco 49er. I don't know if you knew that, but it's true. There's been an awful lot of talk about your quarterback depth chart. Do you guys laugh at all the attention that this is getting? Does it make you want to cry a little bit? Do you feel how ridiculous the media circle and circus gets around this? Does the media noise infiltrate the team or the safeties room?
Definitely not. I think for us, we're just blessed just to be out here. I think seeing Jimmy every day, it wasn't really much of a surprise when he stayed here. And, the media is just doing their job. I can't tell them what to do. I can't tell them what to say. That's just what they love to do, and the media is able to report on anything. So, obviously, I don't make the higher-up decisions that they do. The front office does, but when Jimmy was back, it wasn't really a big surprise because we got to see him every day in the locker room. So, just being out there, we love him. Trey loves him, and it's a great competition in that room, as every room has, safety room, corners room. We're just blessed just to be out here, and we just got to compete every day.
Talanoa Hufanga here, and we'll let you go in just a little bit, but I got to ask you, tell us a little bit about Trey Lance. What is it like going up against him in practice? How is he developing? What do you see, and how much better do you expect him to be in week 2 in Santa Clara instead of week 1 in a monsoon in Chicago?
Definitely, he's incredible. Just being around him and just seeing the way he holds himself, the work ethic that he has. We're excited for him, especially week 2. I think, like everybody said, we got to get back to the drawing board. And for him, I think he's probably the most eager one just to do it. And so for a guy like that, just to go out there and do what he does is unbelievable. I think obviously the quarterback position is the hardest position in football because they have the most eyes on them, and they got guys that you got to make quick decisions and milliliters of a second pretty much. And so he's just a guy that's going to go out there and get things done, but we're just grateful to have him for sure.
So tell me, and we love great names. We celebrate great names here on this show, and you have one. Talanoa Hufanga. Like it rolls off the tongue. It sounds like a song title. It's a fantastic name. I know it's Tongan. Where does Talanoa come from? Is that a family name? Does it mean something significant?
Yeah, Talanoa it means to tell a story. And so that's kind of just how it means to talk, to tell a story. And then Hufanga is kind of like a safe refuge, a place of safety. So was just named that after, it's not named in our family. I was probably the first one to have it. And so for us, this is a blessing for my parents, really. So very grateful just to be here and the blessings that they've given me and the opportunities they've given me. So.
Now, can you give us a little sneak peek into Tongan cuisine? Like if I'm showing up at your house and I'm
change the locks.
Yeah, right now. But we're putting plates together. What is on my plate if we're eating Tongan tonight?
Probably like terolis, lupulu. There's all different types. I'd say yams probably, and then there's this drink called otai. Like watermelon. It depends which kind of otai you want to do, but that's probably the most flavorful Polynesian drink you could get. Pretty much it's like a smoothie almost with like shredded coconut. You can do mangoes, you can do watermelon. It's all around, but that's kind of a little sneak peek for sure. And probably a pig. I think that's like the most poly dish you could think of, where you cook the pig underground, and then definitely what the luau's are all about for sure.
Well, hey, we're on Team Pork, so there's no doubt we would like that. We want to put you on Team Beef, and our friends at Harris Ranch Beef are giving you, Talanoa, a 10-pound package of prime porterhouse steaks, and you let it be known around the 49ers locker room. You come on with Damon and Ratto, you get porterhouse steaks shipped to your house, and we're going to do that for you. We're going to do that for all of our 49er guests, and I don't know if we're going to run into anybody all season long who was as much of a pleasure to talk to as you, Talanoa. It was a real nice pleasure meeting you again this year. Thank you for coming on the show. Good luck to you and your teammates against Seattle. This is a big one. I mean, turn around to week 2. It gets real big, real fast once again, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. No, we're excited. We just got to keep continuing to build and continue to win any way we can. So we're just very thankful for this opportunity.
Hey, thank you so much for talking to us today, Talanoa. Really appreciate your time. Good luck with everything.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys. Have fun.
Thank you. Talanoa Hufanga. There you go. That's pretty cool. I like him. He's a nice guy. Kid's sharp. He really is. Somebody said, you want to know why he fell to the 5th round? You got people who are just in love with 40 times, and he ran a 4.61. There you go. That probably explains it more than anything else. Because on a football field, football instincts, it looks like he's got whatever the impressive 40 time of football instincts is, he's running it.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what he does on a dry track to see how fast he is.
Yeah, maybe.
And I don't want to keep going back on the weather, but again, you don't get a real honest read on anybody in conditions like that. And even if it's going to rain on Sunday, it's not going to rain like it did. You'll get a better sense of how fast he is, how quickly he closes on a ball, how quickly he closes on a receiver, all those things. You'll get a better sense Sunday than you did last week.
Still, though, that would be the reason why a guy with this much talent slipped past so many NFL evaluators, because they just didn't check the right boxes during the underwear Olympics that is the combine.
But truthfully, the draft's a crapshoot. I mean, Bruce Arians, of all people, who knows quarterbacks as much as anybody does, basically says that when you pick a quarterback or you're evaluating a quarterback, you're right about that quarterback barely 30% of the time. And quarterbacks get looked at with a far keener eye than any other position. So if it's 30% for quarterbacks, what's it going to be for, for a safety? Like 20?
Yeah, I wonder how much the hit and miss on the pick changes percentage-wise based on the position. Not draft position, but position. I guess, you know what? I think there's too many moving parts to this equation to come up with one equation and apply it to all NFL teams looking back at their drafts because, look, we got Trent Baalke jokes for days, don't we? We certainly do. That guy had a blind spot for wide receivers, which he almost could not fill out. He could not get his team a quality professional wide receiver year after year after year after year. That guy knew defense. That guy knew linebacker play. That guy understood defensive line. He had really good things that he was good at evaluating, and then that's why everyone laughed when the Jaguars signed Christian Kirk to the huge deal, because it was like, oh, Baalke is saying this is my next wideout. I'm going to give him that money. By the way, Kirk had a pretty good week one. I think certain teams have their strengths of positions to evaluate, certainly built-in, baked-in blind spots in some front offices. But, yeah, I wonder what correlates more to a hitting on a pick or missing a pick. The position that you're drafting based on your own team strength and weaknesses, or the position of the actual draft pick itself. Where is it in the draft?
Well, I mean, I guess that's the nature of a crapshoot, is, where somebody gets picked has any number of factors attached to it. And if it's just a 40 time that made him a 5th round pick, that seems like sort of a thin read. So there might have been other things. And I'm just talking about physical things that they didn't like about him.
Right.
I don't know.
2 inches too short. Normally guys, who have a certain amount of talent, maybe they're backed up in the draft because of some sort of personality trait. Well, we couldn't detect any from the young gentleman that we just spoke with. He seemed like about as sharp as a 22-year-old kid can be. So, very impressive. Postman in Capitola says, fantastic interview with Hufanga. Grounded, sincere. Very well done, guys. Thank you, Postman. Thank you for always listening. You're one of our best listeners indeed. As we've been telling anyone who would be listening to us that you just don't want to be 0-2. And I understand that the equation, based on it being a 17-game season, has changed. I understand that the equation based on expanded playoffs has changed the equation. But historically, you just got to trust Uncle Damon here. You don't want to be 0-2. You just don't want to be 0-2. The amount of pretty flowers that grow out of the pot of 0-2 are far and few between. You normally get left with stinkweed. You do not want that if you're a football team. You do not want to be 0-2. The difference between 0-2 and 1-1 sounds just like one game in 1 week. It isn't. It's bigger than that. It really is. It's a force multiplier. 0-2 is ominous. Would you like another ominous little stat that was provided by our stat whipping it out friend that is Josh Dubow? What database is that guy working off of?
Oh, Stats Inc. I know it because he lives there. He rents a room at the house he owns. That's where he gets everything.
The amount of ridiculous in real-time information that he cranks out is significant. Like Josh Dubow should have 1 million Twitter followers just based on how quickly he goes into his grab bag for the... Actually, no, that's not the stat. This is the stat. I'll give it to you. That he has all the time. And, of course, all Raiders fans think he's constantly dunking on them with facts.
Well, if you want to dunk on the Raiders, facts are the best place to go.
Well, would you like an ominous event that the Raiders would probably prefer to avoid this weekend? Josh Dubow said that if the Raiders lose to Arizona, and along with the Raiders losing to Arizona, the Lions...
Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass.
The Lions beat Washington and the Raiders lose. The Raiders would then tie Detroit for the second worst winning percentage in the NFL over the past 20 years. The Browns are clinging tightly to their worst winning percentage in football crown, and they will wear it for a long time. But there you go. If the Raiders lose to Arizona and the Lions beat Washington, the Raiders are going to tie Detroit for the second worst winning percentage in the NFL over the last 20 years. Ouch.
They've been profoundly bad for a number of seasons. I mean, that's the thing. It's, he took the last time they went to the Super Bowl and basically just forwarded from there. It's been a pretty precipitous fall off.
It's amazing. It's really amazing. Ownership matters. Ownership matters. Somebody says, Damon, dig in the Metallica shirt. Oh, thank you for watching. Thank you so much. He says, Ray, you're a lovely bumblebee today. He's a little bit more yacht rock Ann Arbor-y. I would have it more like, it's more of a Nautica look, I think, that Ray's got going on today. Bleezy. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate it. Somebody asks and wants to know if we're going to be getting the new iPhone 14. Yeah, Ray and I are going to run right down to the Apple store and wait until Saturday morning until they start selling them. That sounds like something we would both go do.
Why doesn't he get one for us?
Yeah. I remember, Ray, I got an Apple story for you, and I'll give it to you on the other side of the break. And a What If Wednesday? Oh, my gosh. Stick around. All that's happening here on 95.7 The Game. We are brought to you by Friedman's Appliance.
Visit Friedman's Appliance in Pleasant Hill September 23rd through September 25th for their fall clearance sale event and take advantage of one-of-a-kind opportunities. Visit Friedman's Appliance Fall Clearance Sale event for the best time to save on new appliances for your home.
In order for small businesses to thrive, they need to be smart, efficient, agile, staying ahead of the market at every turn, and finding ways to do more with less. That's never been more important than it is right now. So for a limited time, Comcast Business is introducing Small Business Savings, a deal for companies across the country. When you call in now, you can get powerful internet for just $39 a month for 12 months. $39 a month with no annual contract and a money-back guarantee. All on the largest, fastest, reliable network for small businesses with the company that powers more businesses than anyone else. So if you're a small business owner, don't wait. Call and get started today. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Offer ends 9/21/22. Restrictions apply. New Comcast Business 50 megabits per second internet customers only. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call or go online for details. After promo, regular rates apply.
Everything, our farm, our stand, our pop-up shop, it really all started when we discovered the benefits of local, raw honey for our family.
And then we decided to turn it into a business.
We were looking for something to help us get up and running.
So we got the Chase Business Complete Banking Account.
It's more than a bank account. It comes with Quick Accept, which lets us take card payments anytime, anywhere in the U.S. using the Chase mobile app. Plus, we get same-day deposits at no extra cost. For us, it's more than honey. It's about sharing a little sweetness with the world.
Get the Chase Business Complete Banking Account with the essentials you need to help get your business going. Learn more at chase.com/business-complete-banking. Chase for Business. Make more of what's yours. Quick Accept is not available in U.S. territories. Enrollment required. Usage subject to approval. Same-day deposits available for payments before 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday to Friday. Fees and rates apply for checking and processing. Limitations and restrictions apply. Participants compensated. Merchant services provided by Payment Tech LLC and WePay Inc. Subsidiaries of J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Why spend hours negotiating with a car salesman to get the best price for a vehicle you want to buy? At Bmw of Fairfield, we give you our very best, most competitive price right up front. By eliminating the price negotiation process, we create a comfortable environment that helps our guests enjoy an experience that's often hostile and difficult at other dealerships. There is a better way. Experience it for yourself at Bmw of Fairfield. One price, one person, 1 hour.
Are you looking for a rewarding new career? Join the United States Postal Service and apply for roles nationwide. Serve your community with pride and receive benefits including competitive pay and opportunities for advancement. Whether you are looking for full-time, part-time, or seasonal positions, we have options that may be perfect for you. The United States Postal Service is an equal opportunity employer. Apply now at USPS.com/careers.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break. If your business has 5 or more employees and survived COVID, you may be eligible to receive a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee. The challenge is getting your hands on it. Hi, I'm Howard Mackler, and that's why I founded GetRefunds.com to cut through the red tape and get you the money. The team of tax attorneys we have put together are highly trained in this little-known payroll tax refund program. We do all the work, charge not a dime up front, and simply share a percentage of the cash that we get for you. Businesses of all types can qualify, including those that took PPP, nonprofits, and even those that had increases in sales. We have helped return over $1 billion to businesses, and we can help you too. Just go to GetRefunds.com, click on Qualify Me, and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time. Don't lose out on up to $26,000 per employee. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Okay, everyone gather round. I have some exciting...
Running her shoe factory, Kendra talks the talk and walks the walk.
We're switching to green energy.
She needs a biotech consultant to erase her carbon footprint.
All operations will net zero emissions.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hi, Tom Bodette here. Just back from the Bodette family reunion, and honestly, I'm a little baffled by my nephew. Last reunion, he was still bouncing on my knee. Now he's hitting his head on ceiling fans. Good thing they stayed at Motel 6, where there's comfy beds with plenty of room to stretch out on. And great low rates, because, teenagers eating a week's worth of groceries for lunch. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on. For you.
At Churches, we put it all on the table for less. Get 10-piece legs and thighs, 2 large size, 5 honey butter biscuits, and 5 jalapeno peppers starting at just $20. Churches Texas Chicken. Welcome to the great state of flavor. Offer valid at participating locations.
Here's what happened today on The Game. Presented by the County of Santa Clara. The morning roast from 6 to 9.
So why can't we be patient with Trey Lance?
Because we refuse to be patient. Because this team's a winning team. They were 3-5 last year, and the season was going down the drain.
Right. Willard and Dibbs from 9 to noon.
Trey does need to be ready. We got to stop calling him a rookie. He's been around long enough. It is time for Trey Lance to be ready to play NFL football.
Steiny and Guru from noon to 3.
We're hosting a sports talk radio show in San Francisco, and they have one of the most unique quarterback situations maybe that the NFL's ever seen.
And Damon and Ratto from 3 to 6.
0-2 teams miss the playoffs 92% of the time. That's who's coming.
Death. The best of the game. Presented by the County of Santa Clara. Book a COVID-19 booster shot now at sccfreevax.org or call 211. Now back to Damon and Ratto, brought to you by Bmw Fairfield on 95.7 The Game.
Really want to thank Talanoa Hufanga and Hunter Pence for joining us in studio today. Hunter Pence even came on in. He was great. Hufanga was fantastic. The reaction to the interview, overwhelming. I really like that guy. A lot of people saying, I think I found my next Niners jersey. Yeah, he's a young kid that is, I think, worthy of your support. Ray, I was never an early adapter to technology. I let technology come to me. I don't go to it. I'm guessing you're kind of the same guy. In 2007, though, I really saw like a Steve Jobs video for this coming new thing that Apple invented called an iPhone. And for like the first time in my life, I'm like, not only do I want one of those, I want one of those like as soon as I can get it. But I wasn't about to wait in any lines at any store on the day it was released or anything like that. So it's Apple iPhone release day. And downtown Chicago, downtown San Francisco's got camera crews following the amount of people coming to get iPhones at the iPhone store. And I had nothing to do with that. I just stayed far away. I actually went and did my radio show and a show from the bunker that night at the ballpark, and then left to go home. Well, there was so much buzz around this stupid iPhone that the Apple store, which I had to drive by on my way home, was still open. I pull over, I knock on the door. They seem kind of closed, but the lights are still on. And I just said, any chance you have any left? And the guy said, actually, we have one. Would you like the last Apple iPhone of the day that the iPhone 1 comes out? And I was like, hell yeah. I don't even care how much it is. Here's a credit card. I want this. I need it. Thank you very much. I go home. I play with it all night. It's incredible. It's like I'm holding the future in my hand. I couldn't believe how amazing it really was. The next night, I'm in the Giants clubhouse. And I'm checking the time, and I look at the iPhone. I take the iPhone out of my pocket. Boom. Zito, Jack Tashner, and Matt Cain come over, and they're like, what? What? You got an iPhone? How'd you get an iPhone? They just came out yesterday. How'd you get one? I was like, well, you know how when you guys finish up your work day, you go home to your mansions and your beautiful girlfriends or wives or palaces, and you just do that? I'm like, I drive through the Tenderloin past the Apple store and just pulled over. That's how different our lives are. So that's how I got it. It's nothing to be that proud of, fellas.
No, when they say it just opened yesterday, should have been a tip for them that you got it today. And the idea that you said the sentence, I just drove through the Tenderloin, you could have stopped there.
Yeah. We have different lives, fellas, is basically what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah. The Tenderloin is upscale for me.
By the way, what if I told you it's kind of perfect for you?
What if I told you hindsight is always 20/20?
The Minnesota Timberwolves select Stephen Curry.
That everything happens for a reason.
With the first selection in the 2005 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Aaron Rodgers, quarterback from California.
What if I told you it's time for What If Wednesday?
Yeah, what if I told you guys go back to your mansions and your model wives? I go to my sad boy apartment. I just happen to be next to an iPhone store. That's the difference in our lives. Lucas.
Yeah.
What do you have for us on a What If Wednesday?
We got time for one question, and we're going hard-hitting sports on this edition of What If Wednesday. You think the noise around the 49ers quarterback situation's bad now? What if the Niners lose Sunday's home opener against the Seahawks? How is next Monday going to sound on our station, on Twitter, on social media? How loud are the Jimmy fans going to be next week if Trey can't pull out a win in the home opener on Sunday?
Can I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
How was Trey Lance?
Average.
So
what's average for him?
So let me ask. So what is an average day for Trey Lance? So you're saying he rushed for about 30, 40 yards.
You know
he threw for a couple
I'm
hundred
going to
yards.
make it easy. Let's just say he has a very similar performance to last week in Chicago.
Yeah, hell hath no fury. Hell hath no fury like the noise you will hear if the Niners are 0-2 and he looked bad at home. I don't necessarily thought he looked bad, but if you take that performance and you translate it to a better track, which you're going to have in Santa Clara, that would be bad. That would be bad. We will be, I'm not going to say we're going to go to DEFCON 1, because DEFCON 1, Ray, means World War III. There is no DEFCON 0. You can only go to 1. So I'd say right now we're at DEFCON 5. We'd upgrade that to DEFCON 3. And then a loss in Denver is DEFCON 2. And then if you lose to the LA Rams, you are at DEFCON 1.
I think I'd start taking Mondays off. That's how loony these fans will be. Well, they'll be loony anyway. Because even if they win, if Lance doesn't rush for 80 and throw for 320, you'll still have people going, I don't think he's ready yet. Because it's not what they see, it's what they want to see. and how what they want to see differs from reality.
No, see, here's the thing. I think that the minute Trey Lance throws down oh my God, he could be really, really good game, everyone's going to be so excited about that. The Jimmy conversation goes away quickly. Like the minute this guy looks like the guy, they're going to embrace that. To an extent.
No, to a very small extent, because people are dug in on this. And 49er fans are unique in their desire to root for their team to win the Super Bowl with the quarterback who's not playing.
Let me say this. If he's a 50% passer and the Niners are 0-2, you got problems.
If he's a 60% passer and they're 0-2, it doesn't matter what his numbers will be if they're 0-2.
If he's an 85% passer with 400 yards and 6 touchdowns and they still lose,
then they'll just say Kyle Shanahan has screwed us anyway.
Well, of
course they will.
Of course that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, we will be back tomorrow, and we won't have any new Trey Lance stats to go over, but we'll get you ready for everything that you're going to be seeing from Trey Lance in week 2. Looking forward to that. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Again, Talanoa was fantastic. Hunter Pence was fantastic. You can catch them all on the app.